It's time for Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Wolverine football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar Grille, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, the law offices of Owen Seman, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek, Busch Brothers Car Care, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, and A-Boss Opticians. Now it's time for the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show.
A pleasant good evening and welcome to the Wolverena, the Turtle Creek home of your Woodland Hills Wolverines. And tonight it's home to the ultimate game, the final game of the WPIAL versus Everyone High School Football Showcase. Woodland Hills comes off of a 5-7 season where they were 3-4 within their conference, and the Wolverines lost 14-13 to West Allegheny at North Hills High School in the WPIAL quarterfinals. And the Wolverines take on the Calvert Hall Cardinals, who a season ago were 11-1, 5-1 within their conference, and their final game was played at Towson University near Baltimore, Maryland, and it was a 40-7 victory against Loyola Blakefield. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley up here in the booth. Down on the field, it is Vince Russo. We're going to step away for about 3 minutes, and when we return, we will run through all of our pregame coverage right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale has recently been named among the 33 best sandwich shops in America. But folks in the Woodland Hills communities have known that for over 80 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're sure to love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been serving families in the Woodland Hills community since 1905 and is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home now offers crematory services at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind, knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home. For nearly 115 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities. Woodland Hills football is brought to you in part by the law offices of Owen Seman. Owen is a Woodland Hills alumnus who studied law at Duquesne University and has been practicing law in the Pittsburgh area for over 15 years. Attorney Owen Seaman's experience encompasses virtually every facet of criminal defense. If you find yourself in need of criminal defense representation, call Owen at 412-721-0412 or visit owenthelawyer.com.
What can you expect at Seton Hill University?
An opportunity to transform the future.
A leader in innovative and mobile technology.
A personalized education tailored to your interests and your goals.
A welcoming community.
A big step up to your dream career.
As a nationally recognized Catholic liberal arts university, Seton Hill pushes your education, your abilities, and your career to a higher level. Seton Hill University. This way up for progress, possibility, and a brighter future.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
And we welcome you back. We're high above the field here at the Turtle Creek home of the Woodland Hills Wolverines. It is the Wolverena, and it is the final game of the WPIAL versus Everyone High School Football Showcase. Good to have you along with us here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley, Vince Russo down on the field on the call for you today. And big test to start out the season, Eric Hall, for these Woodland Hills Wolverines.
Most definitely, Adam. Calvert
Eric
Hall.
Shuley, excuse me.
You're fine. They have a lot. They lost some to graduation, but they returned big-time running back Sean Tucker, a Syracuse recruit. And it will be, the Wolverines will have their hands full, definitely.
And let's send it down to the field where Vince Russo will join us, give us an idea of what it's like. It's been a warm day, but it's cooled off a good bit since the sun has gone down. And Vince, what's the atmosphere down there on that field?
Well, Adam, I'll tell you what, had I known earlier, I might have kept an extra layer on. It has cooled down considerably down here. It's just a little over 60 degrees. By the time we really get into action tonight, it should be just down below. Looks like 57 is the low for the night overall. I'll tell you what, though, as the Wolverines crash through the banner and we get rolling here towards kickoff, this is a week 0 game, and sometimes there's not as much energy in a game that doesn't count towards the section standings. But I'll tell you what, the crowd is out here in full force. The cheerleaders are excited, the band's ready to play, and the student section is packed to the gills. So should be a great atmosphere here tonight for this week 0 game and the finale of this classic.
Well, we are going to step away one final time here in the pregame show, and when we return, we're going to get you set for a kickoff. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Thanks for tuning in to the pregame show on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Woodland Hills Football is presented by State Senator Jay Costa. Wolverine Football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar and Grill, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, the law offices of Owen Seman, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek, Busch Brothers Car Care, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, and A-Boss Opticians. Now it's time for kickoff.
Moments away from kickoff here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. Adam Gusky, Eric Shuley, and Vince Russo on the call for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. And Eric, we already talked about it, but a tough test for the Woodland Hills Wolverines, a team a season ago that was 11-1, 5-1 within their conference, and they finished up on their Thanksgiving Classic, that game against Loyola Blakefield.
Yeah, the Cardinals look to have a lot here tonight against the Wolverines. They come in very fired up. As Vince was talking about the Wolverines being fired up, so are the Cardinals. They have a lot to prove tonight against Woodland Hills, but there's a lot of talent back for Woody High, so we should expect to see some high-powered offense, hopefully, on both sides tonight.
Let's send it down to the field where the Woodland Hills Chamber Choir will perform our Star Spangled Banner.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight members of the Woodland Hills High School Chamber Choir under the direction of Mr. Chris Lorette will lead us in the singing of our national anthem. So please rise and honor America by joining in the singing. And gentlemen, please remove your hats.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Star Spangled Banner, America's national anthem, as we are nearly set for a kickoff in the final game of this WPIAL versus Everyone High School Football Showcase. This game was scheduled to be kicked off at 8 p.m. We are now at 9 p.m. and we're still probably a minute or so away from kicking this football game off. And to be honest with you, Eric, a lot of that had to do with a very sluggish second half in the penultimate game between Woodrow Wilson, a team we saw a year ago play the Wolverines in the final game of this showcase, and the McKeesport Tigers.
Yeah, that game in the second half certainly got sloppy. 28-0 at the half, I believe, and then 28-13 was that final, and it didn't look like McKeesport they just wanted to sit on that lead, and there were lots of flags, and it got a little sloppy, as I said, but here we are, an hour late, but that's all right.
And we thank you for joining us, whether you are on the Woodland Hills Football Network Facebook page, watching on our television affiliates, or if you are tuned in on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, or listening in on our brand new free mobile app available on Apple as well as Android products. Calvert Hall will kick off to begin this football game, and the Wolverines will send 3 return men back down along the goal line. It's centered by Armani Bailey, the 5'8" junior, two-way back.
We saw some big-time special teams plays from Armani Bailey last year. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the way he played in the playoffs was just incredible in the special teams category. Pete Moore kicks off, and we are underway in Turtle Creek, PA. Ball will bounce at the 15, where it's then returned by a Wolverine along the far sideline. A crease for a moment, and that Wolverine return man carrying a host of white jerseys out across the 30 to the 35-yard line. Rodney Stubbs on the return for Woodland Hills. And Stubbs, who's slated to be Woodland Hills quarterback, returns the kick, gets the play from the sideline, and then quarterbacks the offense as he heads to the huddle and now brings his team to the field. 2 receivers left, tight end right, I backfield. Handoff, ball carrier William Clark. He'll take it across the 40 to the 42-yard line for a pickup of 9 yards, and that brings up 2nd down and 1.
William Clark really emerged last year, sharing carries with Anthony Meredith, but he ended up taking the bulk of the load at running back last year, and Wolverines are certainly glad to have him back in the backfield.
So 2nd and 1 for Woodland Hills, the ball favoring the left hash at the 42-yard line. 1 receiver split to either side, a slot to the left. Stubbs, he'll hand off. Again, it's Clark. Clark met at the line of scrimmage, driven back by a host of white jerseys. Clark sprung free, but the whistle had already blown. Amari Lewis leads the charge for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals sniffed that one out. Thought the Wolverines thought they could get a nice, easy first down there up the middle with Will Clark, but they clogged that hole, and now our first 3rd down situation of the night for either team.
So Woodland Hills started this drive at the 33-yard line. They now face a 3rd down and 2 at the 41 after that loss of a yard. High backfield, Stubbs lost the handle on the snap, had to go down on top of the football, and they'll say he gets back to the line of scrimmage and no further, and a miscue on a bobbled snap ends the Woodland Hills' first drive of the season.
Tough start for the Wolverines there after a great 9-yard run by William Clark on the first play from scrimmage. Now they will have to punt the ball away.
Punt unit on for Woody High. Julian Jeffries appears to be doing the punting, but the whistle blew beforehand. We'll check in with our referee. See what the call is here.
Illegal substitution on the defense. It's 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
I don't think we're replaying fourth down. That's going to be a first down for Woodland Hills. So 12 men on the field for Calvert Hall, and it'll be Woodland Hills ball. Why, I don't know why we're stopping here. If you called it against Calvert Hall, that means that a 5-yard penalty against the visiting team when Woodland Hills faces a 4th down and 2. What else is it, Eric?
It's pretty self-explanatory. You were correct.
And now we're waving the flag off. Well, that makes a little more sense.
That clears things up then.
All right. Well, Woodland Hills thought they were able to dodge a bullet, but apparently not, and we will see Woodland Hills punt instead. Snap a little high, but the punter grabs hold and gets it away. High end over end punt takes a bounce in favor of the Wolverines and is downed right around the 36-yard line. Downing the punt, Angelo Reddix, and it'll be first down and 10 for the Cardinals with the ball at the 36-yard line.
Get a chance to see the Wolverines defense now. A lot of success last year in that first round playoff game, shutting out a Mars team that was able to rack up a lot of points and a lot of yardage all season long. The Wolverines defense did a great job against them in that game. See if they can carry some of that over with some returning starters.
Trips to the right of the formation, one receiver to the far boundary left, sidecar to the right side of quarterback Amir Jenkins. Snap right in the midsection of Jenkins. He's going to throw it down this near right seam. The pass intended for Kalen Wade is incomplete. Armani Bailey on the coverage for Woodland Hills, and the incomplete pass brings up second down and 10.
Nice job by Armani Bailey. He's the receiver for Calvert Hall. Definitely has a couple inches on him over there, Kalen Wade, but Bailey, pretty nice coverage on him, able to keep him to the sideline and on an overthrow, and good, very good pressure there by the Wolverines early.
So second down and 10 for Calvert Hall. This time they'll hand off up the middle. Sean Tucker is the ball carrier, and he's stacked up after a gain of a yard or two. Host of black jerseys involved in that tackle. At the bottom of the pile is Michael James, the two-way end.
There's one thing the Wolverines got to do is bottle up Sean Tucker. He's a track star. He can move. They do not want to let him get into open field. He will be hard to catch.
Again, trips to the right, bunched up. One receiver to the far boundary left. Quarterback Jenkins, straight drop back out of the shotgun. Looks left, throws left. And the pass intended for Cole Herbert carries out of bounds, precariously close to what could have been pass interference against the Woodland Hills D-back over on that far boundary, but really the ball was uncatchable by the time it got over to that point. And understandable why no flags flew.
Yeah, Herbert, a very talented receiver for the Cardinals, but that would have been a tough ball to catch. You were correct, Adam.
8:51 to play here in quarter number one. Tied up at 0-0. Both teams forced to punt on their first possessions. Good snap as the punt is away by Pete Moore. Kick caught by the Woodland Hills return man. That's Armani Bailey catching the ball at the 25 and wiggles his way around a couple of tacklers before being brought down at the 28-yard line. And let's send it down to the sideline where Vince Russo is going to join us momentarily. And Vince, I saw you had the opportunity to walk through the bench. What's the feeling like as you walk through the Woodland Hills bench after their first possession?
I'll tell you, Adam, so far so good. Team excited after a big stop there on defense. A little bit of anxiety. They're trying to get this offense rolling here. I think the team expected to come out with a little more power here in the first possession, see if they can make up for it here in the second.
Stubbs rolling to his right, throwing to his right, and he was looking for Gavin Yarborough, and stepping right in the path of the pass was Ty Trin, the defensive back for the Cardinals, and that would have been a pick six had Trin been able to grab hold.
Yeah, Stubbs definitely should have gotten rid of that ball earlier. Trin read that very well and almost took that back to the house for 6 for the Cardinals.
Stubbs will step under center, eye backfield, one receiver split to either side, tight end to the right of the formation. Stubbs is going to hand off. Running right, nowhere to go. As William Clark is bottled up. On the tackle is Mike Johnson, the linebacker for the Cardinals. Loss of about a yard on that play brings up 3rd down and 11. And after the first good run by William Clark, we haven't seen much offense from Woodland Hills.
Yeah, the Wolverines are going to have a tough time running the ball tonight, missing 2 starting offensive linemen, Jeremy Thomas and Jameer Ulmer, both out tonight. So those are tough shoes to fill.
2 receivers split right, tight end left. Stubbs rolls right, has protection in front of him, directs some traffic, heave-hoes it down that far sideline, adjustment for the football, and a lot of hand fighting going on around the 45-yard line. And the pass intended for Tariq Scipio. Scipio couldn't grab a hold of it, and that was really close to what I thought could have been pass interference.
Oh, definitely. It looked like there was a lot of fighting going on the sideline there, and Scipio almost able to come back and get it, but no success there for the Wolverines, and they will have to punt once again.
Yeah, that D-back tugging on Scipio's jersey, but instead the punt unit comes out for Woody High. Scoreless with 7:47 to play. First quarter. Punter takes a couple of steps to his right, and an end-over-end punt will be caught right around the 45-yard line by Sasaki, and Kai Sasaki runs to that far sideline, and he is spun down as he gets inside of the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Definitely a nice return there by Sasaki.
So a flag is down, and we'll await the call. Let's check in with our referee.
After reception, we have hold on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st and 10.
So the spot of the foul just shy of where the return went to, and then they back it up 10 yards from that point. So it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals with the football at the 50-yard line. Now we'll see Calvert Hall set up in a pistol. And then they'll shift out of that, and Amir Jenkins steps under center. Jenkins pitches, ball carrier Tucker running to the right side. And he is undercut. Tackle on the play by Jeffrey Williams of the Wolverines, a gain of 2, and it's 2nd down and 8.
Nice job by the Wolverines stringing Tucker out there and not letting him get through any hole and only holding him to 2 yards. It's exactly what they got to do with Sean Tucker.
Two receivers right, one to the far boundary left. This time we see Jenkins in the shotgun with a sidecar to his right. He's going to hand off to the motion man. Jet motion handoff. Ray Glass running from right to left, and Glass takes it inside of the 45 to the 44-yard line. Tackle by Jeffrey Williams again.
Something the Wolverines are used to seeing from their own team, and several running backs taking carries. Glass and Tucker will be the 2. I'm sure we see a lot from the Cardinals tonight carrying the ball.
Another bunch formation to the right and one receiver to the far side left. With Jenkins in the shotgun, sidecar motions to his right-hand side from his left. Jenkins straight drop back, looks across the middle, completes the pass across the middle. Kalen Wade on the reception for the Cardinals, and again Jeffrey Williams on the coverage and with the tackle.
Great throw by Jenkins there. Gunned it in there and able to get the 1st down for the Cardinals. Didn't waste any time. Saw his receiver open, and made the throw right on the money over the middle.
Trips right, 2 receivers left, so it's an empty set. Jenkins all by himself back there. Quick toss to the near side right. Sasaki on the reception, and he is undercut shortly after crossing the line of scrimmage. Armani Bailey on the stop for Woody High, and it's a gain of 2, and it's 2nd down and 8.
We've already seen some of that speed from Sasaki and that shiftiness, but Armani Bailey has some shiftiness and speed of his own, and also some great tackling ability there to contain Sasaki.
So the ball on the right hash, two receivers to either side. Handoff is fumbled and covered up by the running back. Looks like Sean Tucker was able to fall back on top of that one after he couldn't grab a hold of the handoff from Amir Jenkins.
Yeah, it looked like Tucker may have seen a hole and took his eye off the ball, but luckily for the Cardinals, it bounced right back up into his chest, and they retain possession.
Cardinals going to send trips to the left, one receiver to the near side right. Jenkins has a sidecar who finally settles to his left-hand side. Jenkins looks left, throws left. It's intercepted. It's going to be a pick six for Jeffrey Williams. He broke on the route, and he takes it to the house.
That was fantastic. Jeffrey Williams read that all the way. You know, it was a long throw for Jenkins to make. We've seen he has a strong arm, certainly, but that was just a long throw to make, and it took too long to develop. Great play by Jeffrey Williams.
And Vince, we had a great view of it from up here, but you had the exact opposite view of field level, and it looked like you had a great shot at Jeffrey Williams breaking on that football and taking it to the house.
I'll tell you, that breaking speed, you are correct. The way he was able to read the quarterback's eyes, take that step in between the receiver and the ball, soon as he was able to wrap that one up, there was no doubt that speed to get away. That was a beautiful pick six there by the Wolverines, and some huge adrenaline on the sidelines. They're going nuts down here, up 6-0.
Wolverines going to go for two as Stubbs in the shotgun. Sidecar to his right, twins to either side. Stubbs looks left, throws left, jump ball, and it's too high for Rawlings. And the Wolverines strike first. It's 6-0 with 4:44 to play. We're going to step away for about 30 seconds. When we return, it'll be more of the Wolverines and the Cardinals here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
4:44 to play first quarter. Pick six by Jeffrey Williams. He broke on that one beautifully, caught the ball at the 42-yard line, and there was no way that Cole Herbert was going to catch Jeffrey Williams when he had the beat on the ball that way.
Williams is a great athlete overall. Actually played some quarterback in the scrimmage against Pine Richland, so something you may see this year. Who knows?
Kick end over end, bounces at the 20, and then it'll be scooped up and returned by Sean Tucker. Tucker trying to break free to the right-hand side, finally wrapped and brought down. Zachary Threats the first to get there for the Wolverines.
Tucker is dangerous anywhere on the field. That is very evident already here tonight. The Wolverines know they're going to have to key in on him a lot.
Let's send it down to Vince Russo, who has some insight on why the Wolverines are having such trouble kicking the ball this offseason.
Yes, Adam. The Wolverines, after scrimmaging Pine Richland last week, realized they really hadn't settled on anyone at the kicking position. Their last kicker graduated last year, and so as we saw there, the team's propensity moving forward will be to go for two. It'll be interesting to see how that impacts the team moving forward in some of these close games. Last year, team averaged about 17 points a game, gave up about 16 points a game, so a propensity to play close games. Got a lot of players playing both ways. It'll be interesting to see how that kicking game, as we saw there on the kickoff, only getting to around the 20, that field position battle, so important. We'll see how that impacts the Wolverines moving forward.
Time out on the field. We'll step away too. It's the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale has recently been named among the 33 best sandwich shops in America. But folks in the Woodland Hills communities have known that for over 80 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're sure to love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back at the Wolverena, 4:36 to play first quarter. Woodland Hills 6, Calvert Hall 0. Wolverine scoring on an interception return for a touchdown by Jeffrey Williams. Jenkins under center. He's going to hand off. Spinning forward comes Sean Tucker. He'll surge to the line of scrimmage, but get no further. Tackle on the play by Rawlings for Woodland Hills. Joshua Rawlings playing defensive end, but he'll be headed to the University of Virginia, where he'll be a tight end for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Josh Rawlings all season long. He's gone both ways for a while. Also a nice job there by Julius Brown in the middle for the Wolverines.
Handoff this time goes to Sean Tucker, and Tucker springs free, races his way into Woodland Hills territory to the 46-yard line. 16-yard pickup, and it's a 1st and 10 for Calvert Hall with the ball at the 46-yard line.
First big run by Sean Tucker. Wolverines contained him for a decent while there in this first quarter, but he found a nice hole and he took it across midfield.
Handoff goes to Sean Tucker again, and he'll get to the line of scrimmage, fall forward for a pickup of about a yard or so. Tackle on the play by Julius Brown, 6 feet, 297 pounds. What does he clog up the middle?
Definitely, we've seen a bit of Julius Brown last year. He had some injuries, but this year I'm sure he's going to play a key part on both lines for the Wolverines.
And Julius Brown, we say his name, and he makes an impact immediately as he cuts through the offensive line and tosses Tucker down to the turf at the 49-yard line.
Brown just exploding through the line there to get into swallowing Tucker up there.
And he just blew up the offensive lineman in front of him, surged past him, and made the play in the backfield for a loss of 3, and it's 3rd down and 13. Trips right, one receiver to the far boundary left, sidecar to the left-hand side of Jenkins. High snap. Jenkins looks left, throws left, and the pass is completed to that far sideline for Herbert. And Herbert shoved out of bounds by Tariq Scipio. And Scipio prevents the first down, shoving the receiver Herbert out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So it's 4th down and 1. The line to gain is the 36. Wasn't a first down, regardless of what the fans below us have to say about it.
It looked like he stepped out before he reached that ball over the line. It was hard to see, but it looked like that on the instant replay. But Wolverines got to stop big plays like that on 3rd and long, as you know who's probably getting the ball right here for the Cardinals.
High backfield. Hard count. Did Woodland Hills move? Unless it came over here and it was Armani Bailey, the D-back.
Encroachment on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty, 1st down.
Now, it didn't look like anybody along the defensive front moved, but the flag came from the official on this side, which leads me to believe that it could have been Armani Bailey, who was certainly out of the focus of what we were watching at that point.
If that was the case, it's unfortunate, because I don't think Armani Bailey needed to move early. He had any reason to, but.
Well, the Cardinals, they came to the line of scrimmage, showed a heavy set, and we're going to run the ball, and they decided to do it on 1st and 10, and Sean Tucker drove his way forward for a pickup of 9. And again, Tucker gets the call, and he'll drive his way inside of the 20 to about the 19-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals had the ball inside of the red zone for the first time today. And I'll tell you, there's pushing and shoving both ways, but sometimes the last one to do it is the one that gets caught. It looks like Rodney Stubbs is going to be the guilty party here.
Yep, Rodney Stubbs not smart there after the play, shoving the Cardinal down, and that'll cost the Wolverines big time and put the Cardinals
Dead ball,
in prime zone to score.
On the defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
So that play ended right around the 18-yard line, so they'll put the ball just inside of the 10. So it's first and goal for the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Could have been first and 10 right around the 19, but instead it's first and goal inside the 10 now. High backfield again, and the handoff again goes this time to Glass, it looks like, and Glass driving his way inside of the 5 and finally brought down inside of the 2 at around the 1-yard line. And Ray Glass, the senior running back, with a 9-yard pickup, and it's second and goal at the 1 for Calvert Hall, and they're a yard away from tying this game.
Yeah, and they're moving, and they're about to snap, and the Wolverines have too many on the field. It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, the Wolverines did have a lot of guys headed off the field. I guess they were trying to bring their jumbo package on, but the guys that were coming off didn't come off in time. And that's a pre-snap penalty, so that touchdown will be wiped off of the board. However, it'll just move the ball inches closer to the goal line. Now, the only thing I can think of is maybe they're going to say illegal participation instead of illegal substitution, because the official didn't throw the flag prior to the play. He threw the flag during the play.
Participation on the defense.
There you go.
The touchdown is good. This is a carryover to the kickoff.
So the illegal participation penalty against Woodland Hills will carry over to the kickoff, and the PAT attempt forthcoming in that PAT could put Calvert Hall up on top of Woody High. Kicker Kieran O'Neill, 6'1" senior. Good snap, hold down, kick up, and that kick is good. With 1:24 to play in the first quarter, Calvert Hall seizes the lead 7-6 on the Wolverines. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
So the 15-yard illegal participation penalty is assessed on the kickoff. We'll see Pete Moore kick off from the 45. And this one will carry all the way down, and not sure if it split the uprights or not, but if it would have been Canadian football, it could have been a rouge. Let's send it down the sidelines for Vince Russo's view from down below.
Thank you so much, Adam. I wanted to make a comment quickly on that pace of play there. If you noticed, Calvert Hall really started to speed up the tempo there. Quick huddles, if any, got the ball running downhill there. Those big running backs, with the two running back combo there. Keep an eye on that. I was ready to give the defensive line credit, but that pace of play could come into impact later.
Woodland Hills in the pistol this time, as Stubbs is going to hand off. The ball carrier running to the right-hand side, William Clark. He'll cut across the 25 and out towards the 28-yard line, maybe the 27. So a pickup of 7 and a nice pickup there for Clark, his second 5+ yard run of the game.
Getting to see that speed from William Clark again. It's something the Wolverines love. Hopefully he can find another hole here for the Wolverines.
Late first quarter is maybe some miscommunication there between Stubbs and Clark, the tailback, and a couple of the yards that Clark picked up on first down disappear as Wolverines end up losing about a yard, ultimately back to the 26-yard line.
And nowhere to go there for William Clark. Now puts the Wolverines in a tough third down here Looks like a 3rd and a long 4 here.
2 receivers split to either side. Sidecar to the right of Stubbs. Motion man from right to left is Bailey. High snap. Stubbs feeling pressure. Throws it to Bailey along the near sideline and left it low where only Bailey could catch it or it would be incomplete. So a good positioning on the pass. Unfortunately, it is incomplete, and it turns into a punting situation for Woody High.
Yeah, the Wolverines offense really struggling here so far tonight. Can't quite get their footing at all, except for a couple nice runs by William Clark.
Woodland Hills taking a while to get this punt snap off. High snap, caught well. Spiraling punt. Takes a neutral bounce and will bounce into the hands of Julian Jeffries, the 6'4" sophomore reserve tight end. So we've seen a couple of good punts so far by Deontay Williams, listed as an athlete on offense, and he's punting right now for Woody High.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be a team player, do whatever the coach needs, and obviously Coach Tim Bostard needs him to punt this year, and he's done a pretty decent job so far tonight with a few already under his belt.
End of the first quarter, Woodland Hills trails Calvert Hall 7-0. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Busch Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for 4 decades. Busch Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, an alignment, state inspection and emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Busch Brothers is the place for you. Busch Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
For the first time today, a team starts in its opponent's territory, and it's to start the second quarter as Calvert Hall starts 1st and 10 at the Woodland Hills 47-yard line after the Wolverines punted on their final drive of the first frame. Handoff going to go to Sean Tucker, who finds a crease over right tackle, cuts right, then surges forward again and drives his way all the way down to the 32-yard line, a pickup of 15, and that'll bring up 1st and 10 for Calvert Hall at the Woodland Hills 32, and now the offense for Calvert Hall starting to move the ball on the Wolverines.
Yeah, it took a little bit of time for Calvert Hall, but you had a feeling that Sean Tucker was going to break through at some point. He really is now for the Cardinals. Could be trouble for the Wolverines.
Jenkins steps under center. Slot crabs from right to left. Handoff goes to Tucker. He'll bounce to the left-hand side, and he is tripped up right near the line of scrimmage by Antoine Meredith. So Meredith on the tackle there, keeping it at a modest gain, and had it not been for that shoestring tackle, could have been bad news for Woodland Hills.
Yeah, Sean Tucker, anytime he gets out in open field, you hold your breath if you're the defense.
Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6, high snap, handoff. Tucker has a crease to the right. It closes quickly as a flag comes in. Wolverines all over Tucker as he got to the line of scrimmage, and check in with our referee.
On the previous play, we have hold on the offense. 10-yard penalties from the spot of the foul. Replay, 2nd down.
It looks early like Coach Tim Boss is really using this game, given that it's an on-conference game, first game of the year. He's really using it to see who he has, what personnel he has on defense. We've seen a lot of different bodies out there for the Wolverines already on defense.
Well, things have changed so much in the high school game over the past several years, and I'll try to continue on that point after this play. As Calvert Hall sends trips to the left, one receiver to the far side, right side car to the left-hand side of quarterback Jenkins. Jenkins play action, looking left the whole way, throwing left, has a wide open receiver right down the middle of the field. Settling down underneath it is Cole Herbert for a touchdown.
It's a shame that the Wolverines let something like that happen, because that was a floater ball hanging up in the air forever, and there wasn't a Wolverine defender anywhere close enough to get in the way of that ball when it finally came down. Herbert was right there, made the catch, and lots of miscommunication for the Wolverines already.
Yeah, Cole Herbert, who was the intended target on the Jeffrey Williams pick six, has caught 2 balls since then, and both of them have hurt the Wolverines. The last one, not nearly as much as the most recent one. PAT up and in for the place kicker, Kieran O'Neill. And with 10:32 to play in the second quarter, Woodland Hills down by 8. It's the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek is the official pizza of the Wolverena and has been a family tradition since 1971. Fox's Pizza also features tasty appetizers, fresh salads, as well as mouth-watering hoagies and sandwiches. Fox's Pizza in Turtle Creek is conveniently located in Penn Plaza, so stop in to pick up lunch or dinner or call to place your delivery order now at 412-823-9960. From our den to your den, it's Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
14-6, Woodland Hills trailing the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Calvert Hall, private school out of Maryland. Public schools in Maryland not allowed to play games until next week, and I was going to make a point about how high school football has changed. You know, back when I played football, and it was that way for a long time, is the kickoff is booted by Pete Moore and will carry all the way down to around the 4-yard line. Caroms off of a Wolverine, still bobbled around, and Keyshawn Lovelace scoops it up. And they're going to say that Lovelace forward progress took him to the 1-yard line before being shoved back into the end zone. So it's not going to be a safety, but the long field for Woody High.
Yeah, I was surprised he even tried to catch that. It looked like it was probably going to go into the end zone, but it was a little too close for comfort, so he decided to go for it and could not handle it. And the Wolverines are going to start this all the way back at their own 1-yard line. Be trouble trying to get out of here.
So finally, I think I'll get to my story here. Back when I played football and for years after that, when football teams in high school went into camp, they had 2 weeks of camp, including 2 scrimmages where they were able to get ready. Now they just have the 1 week of heat acclimation followed by 1 week of camp and a scrimmage. Then you head into this week 0 game, which most teams in the WPIAL elect to do. And since they do that, you're really going into your first game with just 1 week of real practice under your belt.
Right, I think we see the struggles tonight, Adam, from something like that, not having much time to prepare in pads. It's clear, but we'll see if the Wolverines can get it together here in the second quarter and on.
Timeout on the field. We're going to step away too. Woodland Hills down by 8. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
LG3 Entertainment is a first-class disc jockey and karaoke entertainment company that serves the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. They offer a wide range of music entertainment for weddings, anniversaries, school dances, corporate events, and more. They also offer beautiful chair cover linen rentals to give your event the elegance it deserves. They offer many more services, so go to their website today and see why so many choose LG3 Entertainment for the best.
Quick timeout. Woodland Hills to the field, and we thought the Wolverines dodged the bullet on the safety on the kick return, but they don't do so on the ensuing play as Amari Lewis surges through the Woodland Hills offensive line and grabs a hold of the Woodland Hills tailback, William Clark, and chucks him down to the turf in the block end zone. Woodland Hills down by 10, 16-6.
Yeah, certainly had a bad feeling that was going to happen. They couldn't get that initial push there. Wolverines couldn't, and Calvert Hall broke right through, and lots of celebration for something that wasn't too difficult to accomplish, in my opinion.
You know, you get the season started, you make the long trip up here, you spend a night in a hotel last night, and then you got to sit around all day stewing about tonight's game, and you're not stewing in your own bed or in your own home or in your own neighborhood. You're stewing at a hotel, you're all together, and there's something to be said about the camaraderie that can be built in that kind of circumstance.
That is true. Guess I should give him some leeway.
Beautiful evening. It says 76, but feels considerably cooler. It was pretty warm earlier today. Lots of the teams in the early games were cramping up, but things have improved significantly as we went into this evening. Free kick upcoming after the safety. Deontay Williams will do the punting for Woody High. Spiraling punt will be caught on the run over on the far numbers. Catching the ball is Ty Trin, and Trin still on his feet and finally brought down as he dances his way to the 40-yard line and is met by a host of black jerseys.
Very nice shiftiness there by Trin. And Calvert Hall is starting with great field position yet again. And it's the tired Wolverines defense. We'll see, as I said before, some different bodies coming out here. I don't think.
Let's send it down to the field. Vince Russo, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. You know, we talk a little bit about, you guys talked about how there's less preparation time, some changes in the preseason practice schedule. Seeing a lot of confusion down here, even on the sidelines during timeouts, during huddles. A lot of guys pointing at each other, pointing to where people should be on the field. Still some miscommunication, as we saw on that deep ball that got over the top of the defense. See if they're able to shore up some of that here. Defense is tired.
1st and 10 for Calvert Hall. Ball at the 40-yard line. Driving his way inside of the 40 to the 37-yard line is Sean Tucker. Tucker loses his lid, so he's got to head out for a play, and that'll bring in Ray Glass, who already has a touchdown to his credit for the Calvert Hall Cardinals.
Yeah, Calvert Hall certainly doesn't lose much when Tucker has to leave the field. Glass really fills in his shoes very nicely.
Handoff, Glass running right, cuts his way back left, flags fly in. And you can actually see Josh Rawlings having to adjust his jersey, so he was the victim of somebody holding him without a doubt.
And you see that, that's definitely a clue that holding is what could be coming.
On the previous play, we have holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty, spotted a foul, replay, second down.
That's going to back Calvert Hall up to almost the 50-yard line. They'll settle the ball just shy of the 49. So a long way to go for Calvert Hall to get the first down. It'll be second down and 19.
Chance for the Wolverines to build some momentum here. They can get a big stop on Calvert Hall.
Handoff goes to Tucker. Tucker runs to the left, and he will be forced out of bounds inside of the 35. So he picks up a big chunk of that yardage lost on the holding penalty. Will actually spot the ball at the 35-yard line, so a pickup of 14 for Tucker makes it a third and much more manageable 5.
Yeah, the Wolverines really struggling now with Sean Tucker because he can go anywhere up the middle or to the edge, right or left. Hard to keep track of him and also hard to bring him down. He's a very shifty running back, and he likes to break tackles.
3rd and 5. Jenkins in the shotgun. Tucker sidecar to his left, trips to the right of the formation. Straight drop back. Tucker looks right, throws right, and the pass off the mark. Tucker was looking for Maselli over there on that far sideline. Check that, not Maselli. Wayne Corbin. Coverage on the play by Bailey. Tucker faced some pressure, especially late in that play as we take a look at our Triangle Bar and Grill replay.
Love that the Wolverines brought, I think, 7 there on the blitz. Use that speed, use that agility that these defensive players for the Wolverines have, and it forced the bad throw.
Straight drop back. Jenkins looking to the left-hand side, and the pass in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Cole Herbert, and it's a turnover on downs. They went for it on 4th down, tried to get the Wolverines to be on their heels just a bit on the quick pass to the near side left, but Herbert couldn't hang on to it after making 2 spectacular grabs, including a TD.
Yeah, we've seen some great catches from Herbert already, and Another blitz by the Wolverines forces the throw. This time the throw is right on the money, and you know Herbert's going to be seeing that in his sleep. He makes that catch, I'm sure, 9 times out of 10.
Woodland Hills starting this drive at their own 35-yard line. 9:01 to play in the second quarter. The Wolverines down 10. Stubbs pressured as he rolls to his left-hand side. Now he poses it to that far boundary. Looking for Armani Bailey, and the pass is incomplete, and there's a flag down behind the play.
Could be hold on the Wolverines.
Yeah, pretty sure the official had his mic on while he was telling the other officials.
Have holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
That time only 4 rushers by Calvert Hall and 1 linebacker holding back a little bit. He was able to break in when Stubbs got out of the pocket. It's a shame that Stubbs can't get more time because you want to be able to utilize such a big target in Josh Rawlings and the speed of other receivers like Scipio and Yarbo.
Wolverines backed up now, first down and a mile to go. 1st and 25 according to the scoreboard. The Wolverines go to the ground on the first play. William Clark, the ball carrier, carries it out to the 22-yard line. Line to gain is the 45, so it's 2nd down and 23 for Woodland Hills.
Yeah, nice job there. Looked like by Savon Gibner. Made a nice block on Calvert Hall's Anthony Deladon, but clearly wasn't enough to break William Clark.
This time Stubbs going to throw to his left-hand side and is looking for the outlet out of the backfield. And can't connect with William Clark, and the incomplete pass brings up 3rd and 23.
Like the thought on that play. Quick little swing pass out to William Clark. Dangerously close to being a lateral. Luckily for the Wolverines, it was not. It was a forward pass. But nonetheless, they are forced with a 3rd, and they have a 3rd and very long here.
So 3rd down and 23 for Woodland Hills. Stubbs is in the shotgun with a sidecar to his left-hand side. Twins to either side. Stubbs has to tuck and run as he's pressured early. Drives his way forward across the 20 to 21. It's still going to be a loss of 2, and that brings up 4th down and 24.
Yeah, this offensive line having a tough time tonight. As I mentioned, missing 2 guys. Now I think they're missing 3. I have not seen DeJuan Howes out there at all tonight for the Wolverines. He's been starting since his freshman year on both lines at times. And he is not out there tonight for the Wolverines, so forcing some reserves in to get some experience.
Good snap, and the punt is away by Williams. It takes a bounce in favor of Woodland Hills and will continue to roll before it's ultimately downed by a Wolverine. Down by Kellen McDonough, and that brings up 1st and 10. And you know, Eric, as we take a look through the first quarter and a half of this football game, Woodland Hills started out well. Showed some offensive promise, had the big pick 6 to take the early lead, but they've been back on their heels defensively thus far, and unfortunately their offense has really stalled.
Yeah, as I said, the defense getting a lot of different guys into the game, but it doesn't seem to matter because they are still very gasped and on the field a lot. As Vince talked about, the pace of the game has hurt them as well with the no huddle sometimes by Calvert Hall.
Calvert Hall straight from the sideline to the line of scrimmage here, no huddle there. 2 receivers right. High backfield, play action. Jenkins, heave-hose this one. It's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to be broken up. Nice ball skills by Jeffrey Williams to adjust and make sure it hits the turf.
Yeah, there was another opportunity there for the Wolverines to maybe steal a turnover. Jenkins has thrown some ducks up there, and that was one of them again. But nice job by Jeffrey Williams there. Had his receivers sealed off very well. Looked like Sasaki. But it falls incomplete.
Second and 10 for the Cardinals. The ball on the left hash as Jenkins steps under center with an eye backfield behind him. One receiver split to either side. Jenkins going to hand off. It's Tucker. Tucker out to the midfield stripe where he's cut down. Looks like Taylor Brooks on the tackle for Woody High. 3rd and 5 for the Cardinals.
Right back up to the line.
Hard count, the Wolverines hold true. Jenkins steps under center again. This time he'll take the snap and he'll hand off, and Tucker straight up the gut, and he's going to take it to the house.
Forget about it.
50-yard touchdown run, a gaping hole up the middle, and once he was able to get a step past the middle of the linebackers and safeties, he was gone.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, he takes a little hole like that, he's gone. You're never going to catch him. You could see that breakaway speed there by Sean Tucker. Just a nice job by the Calvert Hall offensive line to open that hole, and it was good night.
Got to give a lot of credit to Anthony Weiss, the 5'11", 235-pound senior offensive lineman. He went out to the second level, met a Woodland Hills linebacker, and that was all that Tucker needed to get sprung and head to the end zone. PAT is up and in with 6:17 to play here in the second quarter. Wolverines struggling, trailing the Calvert Hall Cardinals 23-6. It's the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Whether you need a new website or want to improve your existing site, Web Landings can serve your needs. Web Landings provides professional, easy-to-maintain websites for businesses, organizations, and individuals. Discover more at weblandings.com and find out how editing your site can be as easy as using a word processor. Plus, we offer 1 year of free hosting for any website developed. Visit weblandings.com today.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
We had ourselves a football game for about 2/3 of the first quarter, but it's been all Calvert Hall since. And the Cardinals even going to go with the onside kick here as the ball's kicked off by Pete Moore, and he recovers it himself. And it'll be 1st and 10 again for the Cardinals inside of Woodland Hills territory. And Maurice Walker, one of the assistant coaches, is just behind himself, asking his team, why didn't you guys go after the football? You can see him right there in the foreground.
Yeah, the Wolverines just not thinking straight right now. They automatically turned, didn't even give it a chance. It's something that you don't think is going to happen, but you have to be aware. You can't turn around until that ball is kicked away. Instead, Calvert Hall will get the ball right back, again with great starting field position. And here comes Sean Tucker trotting out. I think he wants another chance to take this ball to the house, see if the Wolverines can stop him.
Last 3 drives for Calvert Hall, 47, the Woodland Hills 47, the Woodland Hills 40, Calvert Hall 45, and this time at the Woodland Hills 47. Jenkins rolls right, throws right, has a receiver backpedaling, catching the football. It's Sasaki who ends up backing his way all the way down to the 2-yard line. There's a flag on the play, though, way back at the midfield stripe, and this may be negated. We'll check in with our referee.
On the previous play, we have holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
That's a holding penalty that'll certainly take the wind out of your sails. I didn't see a lot there.
I did not either, Adam.
So this drive starting at the 40-yard line, and it will be 10 yards from the spot of the foul after that first down holding penalty against the Cardinals. Moves the ball from the 50 to the 40.
Cardinals first and 23.
Handoff, Tucker, brought down in the backfield by the big D lineman, Julius Brown, 6 feet, 300.
Great job knifing through there by Julius Brown and holding on tight to that ankle of Sean Tucker. As we have seen, he's able to slip out of those tackles, but Julius Brown makes sure he does not that time.
The only times Tucker has been brought down in the backfield today, it has been by Julius Brown. Tight end right, slot to the left. Two receivers to the near side left as well, and now they'll switch things up, and some confusion by the near sideline and a timeout on the field. 5:13 to play here in the second quarter, 23-6. Woodland Hills trailing Calvert Hall. It's the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been serving families in the Woodland Hills community since 1905 and is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home now offers crematory services at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind, knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home. For nearly 115 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Second down and 24. And the ball carrier is Sean Tucker. And Tucker, a 1-yard gain, is not able to find much there. We've seen him and his blazing speed, but the last two times he's carried the ball, he's been met in the backfield. Brought down once for a 1-yard loss, and that time just a meager 1-yard gain. Nice open field tackle by Godlock to keep that at no gain. Setting up the screen are the Cardinals as Jenkins finds the tailback Tucker, and Tucker surges his way into Woodland Hills territory all the way inside of the 45 to the 42-yard line. And it's decision time for the Calvert Hall Cardinal coaching staff led by Donald Davis, Calvert Hall alum from 1996.
Yeah, I think I have an idea of what Calvert Hall is going to do here. They've been aggressive all game. I think they'll stick with it and go for this fourth down after the Wolverines got sucked in on that screen pass. Gave up a big chunk of yardage to Sean Tucker.
Fourth and about 5, the ball at the 42. Straight drop back by Tucker. By Jenkins, feeling pressure as he throws it to the near side left, looking for Herbert. And again, Herbert can't haul it in on the high pass to the near boundary. And the incomplete pass leads to a turnover on downs.
And Jenkins was feeling the pressure there, tried to get it out to Herbert, but just out of the reach of Cole Herbert. And turnover on downs. Wolverines have another opportunity here before the half to get something going on offense.
.353 to go, second quarter. Woodland Hills down 23-6. Stubbs, he'll hand off. Up the middle goes William Clark, showing some strength there as he drives his way out to the 48-yard line.
That seems to be the only thing that's had some success tonight for the Wolverines is William Clark running the ball. Got to give some credit then to offensive line a few times.
Stubbs hands off, tailback this time is Zachary Threats, who bobbled the handoff initially, was able to gather it back in and pick up a yard before being brought down to the turf at the 49-yard line. 3 yards shy of the line to gain, and it's 3rd and 3 for Woody High.
It looked like maybe a little sloppy on that handoff. Threats, we saw take some carries last year later in games. Could see his athleticism. Hopefully he has a chance this year to get some more.
Handoff coming to the near side, and it's Taylon Brooks taking the carry this time, and Brooks has nowhere to go as he's brought down in the backfield They'll say he stopped at the 47 for a loss of 2, and that brings up 4th down and about 5 from the 47-yard line, and the punt unit back on.
Yeah, it looked like Brooks actually may have flinched there before the snap. Could have been a false start, but did not matter either way for the Wolverines.
High snap, Williams gathers it in, gets away a knuckling punt this time. I'll take a bounce in favor of the Wolverines, and we'll continue to roll inside of the 20 to the 19-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Calvert Hall. Let's send it down to the sideline, where Vince Russo will join us. And Vince, you're seeing those safeties having a tough time down there.
Yeah, Adam, a tough time. Scipio leading the secondary back there. They've been torched multiple times. Even a few of those, balls. One of the referees actually came over to me, talked to me after that long touchdown play, and said, "Wow, he had a lot of time there. He was really open." I mean, that ball was not thrown incredibly well. Fell into the breadbasket. This defense not great on the closing speed here early in the first half, and because of that, they've been on the field for a long time.
Defense back out there now as the Wolverines punt the ball back to Calvert Hall Cardinals. And the Cardinals start this drive at the 19. Deep drop back. And a quick toss over to Tucker from Jenkins. And looks like Tucker brought down about 4 yards deep in the backfield.
Yeah, it was a nice job there by Idris Goodluck there, linebacker for the Wolverines. Able to read that play much better than the last screen by the Cardinals. Now the Cardinals backed up on a 2nd and long. Whistles here for the snap. It look like we're going to have a false start here on Calvert Hall. We'll push them back a little bit.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Looked like Cole Herbert moving early there.
Trips right, one receiver to the near side left. Straight drop back by Jenkins, looking left the whole way. Has Herbert with a step on the defensive back, Armani Bailey. But had that ball not hung up in the air so much, it would have been a touchdown, for number 7, Jaden Beckles, not Herbert. But Beckles had 2 steps behind Armani Bailey.
Yeah, these secondary struggles coming into play again here for the Wolverines.
And like I said, had it not been so sky high, I don't think Armani Bailey would have been able to close and catch up to the speedy receiver from Calvert Hall, Jaden Beckles. Straight drop back this time by Amir Jenkins, and a jump ball, and it's going to be intercepted by the Wolverines. That time the ball hanging up in the air costs Jenkins as he was looking for his number 1 target, Cole Herbert, an INT by Woody High.
Yeah, it was bound to happen if he kept throwing those floater balls up there. Nice adjustment to the ball, though, by the Wolverines, Scipio, and makes the interception. And Wolverines are very backed up here with not much time remaining, but at least they were able to keep the Cardinals out of the end zone there.
So 51 seconds remain here in the second quarter. Woodland Hills is down by 17 points. And they've got the long field to deal with. Stubbs under center. It's going to hand off. Big hole over right tackle. William Clark that time with his first down run of the game.
Great job by William Clark protecting that ball, too, as 2 Cardinals converged on him right at the last minute as he got tackled. But he protected that ball very well. That could have popped out there very easily. But it's 1st down, Woodland Hills.
Pick up of about a dozen there. Makes it 1st and 10 at the 17. Clock winding. Stubbs rolling left, feels the pressure, throws the football. He was looking for Meredith, but can't connect, and the incomplete pass stops the clock with 20 seconds to play, and it's 2nd and 10.
After that ball was tipped, looked like it was almost picked off by Jaden Beckles, who had that last big reception for the Cardinals, and that would have been trouble had he got that. Probably would have been untouched to the house.
Approaching halftime here, 20 seconds to go in the second quarter. Handoff straight up the middle. Clark again brought down as he crosses the 20 out to the 22. That'll be the final play of this second quarter. So we will send it to halftime with Woodland Hills trailing the Calvert Hall Cardinals by a score of 23-6. We are going to step away for a couple of minutes, and when we return, we're going to recap the first half and then send it to our halftime show. You're tuned into the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale has recently been named among the 33 best sandwich shops in America. But folks in the Woodland Hills communities have known that for over 80 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're sure to love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been serving families in the Woodland Hills community since 1905 and is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home now offers crematory services at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind, knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home. For nearly 115 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities. Woodland Hills football is brought to you in part by the law offices of Owen Seman. Owen is a Woodland Hills alumnus who studied law at Duquesne University and has been practicing law in the Pittsburgh area for over 15 years. Attorney Owen Seaman's experience encompasses virtually every facet of criminal defense. If you find yourself in need of criminal defense representation, call Owen at 412-721-0412 or visit owenthelawyer.com.
What can you expect at Seton Hill University?
An opportunity to transform the future.
A leader in innovative and mobile technology.
A personalized education tailored for your interests and your goals.
A welcoming community.
A big step up to your dream career.
As a nationally recognized Catholic liberal arts university, Seton Hill pushes your education, your abilities, and your career to a higher level. Seton Hill University. This way up for progress, possibility, and a brighter future.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Halftime in Woodland Hills trails Calvert Hall 23-6. Adam Gusky, Eric Julie, and Vince Rooster on the call for you here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. 3 straight punts to start the football game, and then the Wolverines struck first on an interception return for a touchdown by Jeffrey Williams. Woody High looked good, but answering right back were the Calvert Hall Cardinals on a 1-yard touchdown run, capping off a drive that covered 62 yards. Ray Glass capped things off for Calvert Hall there. A punt by Woodland Hills on the ensuing drive, and that was the end of the first quarter. In the first possession of the second quarter for Calvert Hall started at the Woodland Hills 47-yard line, and that was capped off on a touchdown pass from Amir Jenkins to Cole Herbert. On the ensuing possession for Woodland Hills, the ball hit off of Kashawn Lovelace, one of the return men for Woodland Hills. He ended up recovering it at the 1-yard line before being shoved back into the end zone. And on the next play, Woodland Hills running back William Clark was dumped in the backfield, and Woodland Hills fell behind 16-6 at that point. Calvert Hall on the ensuing drive got the ball at the Woodland Hills 40-yard line. Great field position, but turned it over on downs. The Wolverines punted it back, though. Gave Calvert Hall good field position at their own 45, and just one play later, it was a 50-yard touchdown run by Sean Tucker, the speedy running back for Calvert Hall. A turnover on downs for Woodland Hills on the next drive, a punt by Woody High. An interception by Calvert Hall quarterback Amir Jenkins, his second of the half. And that's the way the half ended as Woodland Hills just wound out the clock. And Adam Gusky here with Eric Shuley and Vince Russo. And I'll tell you what, guys, not the first half, especially the second quarter, the Wolverines won it.
Not at all, Adam. We've seen a lot of struggles from the Wolverines. It is the first game of the year, so you're going to see that. But you wish you would see a little bit more productivity out of the offense. Defense has had some nice plays, but they've also struggled mightily in the secondary.
Yeah, this defense has got to be able to get off the field, right? I mean, they have made some great plays. They've contained the running game of Calvert Hall as well as you would hope that they could. A 50-yard touchdown, certainly not what they were looking for, but overall, not bad. But the offense has got to get something going. And we've talked about early and often, throughout this beginning of the season, trying to get the ball to Joshua Rawlings. How do we get that 6'6" tight end involved with the offense? They haven't been able to do that yet. They haven't had time to throw the ball. There's been pressure in the face of the quarterback all night. See if they're able to get anything going here in the second half, but adjustments need to be made to get that defense to get a little air under itself.
Again, your halftime score is 23-6, Woodland Hills trailing the Calvert Hall Cardinals. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with more halftime coverage, but for now, we'll step away and allow you to enjoy the marching bands right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Wolverine Football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar and Grill, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, the law offices of Owen Seman, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek, Busch Brothers Car Care, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, and A-Boss Opticians. Now it's time for the Woodland Hills Football Network Halftime Show.
Halftime here in Turtle Creek as Woodland Hills trails the Calvert Hall Cardinals 23-6. Adam Gusky and Eric Shuley up here in the booth. Down on the field, it's Vince Russo. And the Wolverines certainly had a tough time of it, especially in the second quarter. And, you hate to harp on it, Eric, but the Wolverines got that spark defensively on the ensuing drive, though. They allowed Calvert Hall to drive down the field on that 62-yard drive. That really took the wind out of their sails defensively.
Yeah, Calvert Hall answered that very quickly. They went to a little bit of a no-huddle, really threw the Wolverines off. They weren't expecting it, and since then it's been all Cardinals.
Yeah, and as we take a look at what happened in that second quarter, the Woodland Hills offense was very stale, and the defense was pushed back on their heels. Number one, because of pacing of the game, and number two, the fact that Calvert Hall just continued to push big, fast, strong athletes at them.
You hope the Wolverines can use this whole game as a learning experience. Certainly not over yet. You hope they could get something going here in the second half. As you saw in the prior game, McKeesport and Woodrow Wilson fought their way back. They didn't come back and win or anything, but they were able to build some momentum and get back into the game. You hope the Wolverines can do the same thing.
Speaking of the games earlier today and yesterday, tonight's game is the final game of the second annual WPIAL versus Everybody High School Football Showcase. And really the last two games were the best games that we saw in that showcase. Game number 2 today, the game that kicked off right around 2 p.m., a great football game between the Westinghouse Bulldogs at the Pittsburgh City League and the Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Chargers. A come-from-behind win for Ulsh as they were able to get an interception. Westinghouse had the ball all the way down at the 15-yard line and an interception by the Chargers, and that secured the win for the Ulsh Chargers in probably the best football game we've seen here at the Wolverena out of the 6 thus far.
Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't involve a team from out of state. It involved 2 Whitfield teams, but hey, whatever it takes to get a good game like that. Got to see Westinghouse team that's been hyped up a lot coming out of the City League this year.
Yeah, great City League team, probably the favorite to win the City League. They found themselves in the city title game a year ago. We're going to step away one final time here at halftime, and we'll get you set for the second half momentarily, right here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
ABOS Opticians on Braddock Avenue in Braddock is your one-stop optical shop. With hundreds of the latest frame styles and lenses, the skilled opticians at ABOS will help select and fit the best eyewear option for you. Plus, ABOS Opticians is the best eyewear repair facility in the area. No matter what your eyewear needs are, make ABOS Opticians your opticians. Call ABOS Opticians at 412-271-4424 or visit abosopticians.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Halftime Show on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Woodland Hills Football is presented by State Senator Jay Costa. Wolverine Football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar Grille, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, the law offices of Owen Seman, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek, Busch Brothers Car Care, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, and ABOS Opticians. Now it's time for the second half.
Second half kickoff carries to the 5-yard line and out across the 30 to the 35-yard line, where the return man is finally brought down. Trey Jordan on the return for the Cardinals. Meredith on the tackle for Woody High, and it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals to begin the third quarter.
Key series here for the Wolverines defense. Hopefully they can get a 3 and out on the Cardinals, and maybe the offense can get back on the field and get Josh Rawlings involved possibly. Got to get this defense off the field first, though.
Motion man from left to right as quarterback Jenkins pitches it off for Sean Tucker, and Tucker from the 35 out to the 40 to the 41-yard line. Pickup of a half a dozen. And it's 2nd down and 4.
You'll take that every time if you're the Cardinals. Wolverines just weren't able to control him enough to keep him to a shorter gain. It's a 2nd and 4 now for Calvert Hall.
High backfield behind Jenkins. He will hand off. Straight up the middle goes the tailback, Sean Tucker. Tucker has nowhere to go as he's driven back after crossing the line of scrimmage initially, and they'll give him forward progress from the 41 out to the 42.
Tucker picking up about a yard
That brings up 3rd down and about 3. Line to gain is the 45 for the Calvert Hall Cardinals.
Looked like Anthony Collins involved in that play for the Wolverines. He had spent a decent amount of time on the defensive line last year for Woodland Hills. Didn't see him much in the first half, but making an appearance here early in the second half.
Motion man from right to left is the slot Krabs. Jenkins hit as he releases the football, and that contact may have been just enough to change the trajectory on the pass intended for Jamal Rickard. Rickard couldn't hang on to it. Coverage on the play by Jeffrey Williams, who has been all over the field defensively today for Woodland Hills. And right now, Eric, if you had to pick a State Senator Jay Costa player of the game for the lid lifter of the 2019 season, you think Jeffrey Williams got it?
Oh, you can see his hustle on every play, Adam. Jeffrey Williams, he's going to have to be a big player for the Wolverines all season long. That's for sure if they're going to have any success.
Punt unit on for Calvert Hall. First time in a while we see Calvert Hall punt. They've turned the ball over on downs more often than they have punted. And this is a beauty, spiraling punt, sky high, caught at the 16-yard line. It'll be returned by Armani Bailey, and Bailey is dancing his way around near the 15-yard line. We'll say he actually retreats back to around the 14 or so, and that's where they'll spot the ball.
Looked like the ball may have come loose there, but Wolverines appear to have retained possession.
Vince Russo, you said you had a better angle on that, and he fumbled the football for a minute.
Yeah, one of his jump cuts there at the end, whenever some of those yellow helmets closed in on him. Quick drop of the ball, but he was able to fall on it pretty quickly. But wow, suffocating pressure there. Good coverage.
Yeah, Jalen Conway leading the way for the Cardinals. And now Woodland Hills facing a 1st and 10. They haven't placed the ball on the hatch yet. The ball's just been sitting there right around the 13-yard line, right near the numbers. And finally the umpire comes in there and will set the ball down at 13. Did we miss a penalty?
It must have been a penalty that we missed as he was backing up. Wolverines were ready to move up to the 13, and they were surprised as well.
So high backfield for Woodland Hills is Stubbs. He's going to drop back and hand off, and the ball carrier William Clark over right tackle drives his way out from the 7 towards the 11-yard line.
Calvert Hall does a great job of making sure that big plays do not happen. Wolverines have always been a team that loves to break that big run at any point. They've always had running backs that are able to do that. Miles Sanders, one of them, now with the Philadelphia Eagles. But Calvert Hall has just done a great job of containing William Clark all game. He is a huge part of the Wolverines offense. Another drop snap there.
Yeah, Stubbs drops the snap. He was able to scoop it up athletically and still get the handoff off to Clark, who ends up picking up some positive yardage out of the whole thing. And anytime you can pick up positive yardage after your quarterback drops the snap, that's a positive. Pickup of about 1 there out to the 13-yard line. And Rodney Stubbs steps under center. And he'll hand off as Clark runs to his right-hand side. He drives his way out. Looks like he may have enough for the first down, and he does. Well, I'll tell you what, he would not be denied on those 3 plays to get a first down.
No, William Clark, a hard runner. Carried it over from last year. He did the same thing, just like his counterpart Anthony Meredith last year. But a great job to fight for that first down for the Wolverines and keep this drive alive.
Stubbs under center. Hands off, running left and then cutting back right again is William Clark, and he's met by a mass of humanity right near the line of scrimmage. And let's set it down to the sideline where Vince Russo has some injury news.
Yeah, I saw Zach Threats, the running back, towards the end of the first half was getting kind of loosened up by the trainers. Looked like there might have been some cramping, some straining, and saw him to start the second half. He's not on the field, and he's been taking sort of some gallops up and down the sidelines, trying to loosen things up. You can see a little pain in his face. So I'll keep you updated down here on what might be happening.
Thanks a lot, Vince, for your view from the sidelines. As Stubbs is going to go to the air, and he has a receiver wide open down that far sideline. But the pass too strong as he was looking for Tariq Scipio.
Scipio definitely got open there for the Wolverines, and it's a shame that Stubbs wasn't able to hit him there because he would have been gone had he been able to get the ball to Scipio.
Wolverines shaken up over here on the near sideline right along the numbers. Wolverine being tended to at his left leg. Haven't been able to pick up a number, and now we get to see that it's Gavin Yarborough, the 5'10", 146-pound junior wide receiver. And the good news is, looks like they're just trying to rub out a cramp in his left calf. And, you know, at this time of year, regardless of how much you try to drink during the day, especially if you're an athlete, and especially if you have lower body fat, like a lot of these D-backs and wide receivers do, you have a propensity to cramp up.
Oh, so certainly in this type of weather. It's hard to avoid no matter how much you hydrate, and we're seeing that here tonight, even though, as you said, it has cooled down, and there's a nice little breeze, but it still is a very hot day all day long, and certainly the players are feeling the effects of that now.
Next week, Woodland Hills opens up conference play, and they will be here at the Wolverena, and we will see Eric Shuley bump over a seat to his left-hand side, and your dad, Jim Shuley, returns to the broadcast booth as the Wolverines take on the Bethel Blackhawks next Friday night at 7:30, or 7 o'clock, excuse me, kickoff scheduled for that game within conference.
Should be an interesting game. It'll be the first game for new head coach out in Bethel Park, Brian DeLallo. They were one of the teams that they elected to not play a game this week in week 0. So it'll be their first game coming in here to the Wolverena.
Good news, Yarborough able to get to the sidelines under his own power, get that cramp rubbed out, get some potassium in him, and hopefully he'll be ready to go. Stubbs throws across the middle, finds the receiver Armani Bailey, who catches the ball and pays the price as he's knocked to the turf by Dinaz Jones.
Nice grab by Bailey there going across the middle, but not enough for a first down for the Wolverines. But Stubbs did a good job there, holding his ground in the pocket. The Wolverines will have to punt it away. It's been a busy day for punter Deontay Williams.
5'11", 167-pound sophomore. Expect to hear a lot about him as the season and his career progress. Wobbling snap, and he's forced to kind of kick it off the side of his foot, and it goes sky high, and it's caught. Great idea there by Jaden Beckles, the defensive back, as the ball caromed off of the side of the foot of the Woodland Hills punter. Beckles caught it in midair, raced down to the 1-yard line, and the Calvert Hall Cardinals are in business.
Yeah, tried to rush that punt out of there as he was getting pressured mightily, and Williams was unable to get that punt away cleanly. Didn't even go past the line of scrimmage, and I have bad memories of a play like that from the Woodland Hills history at Heinz Field. I don't even want to bring it up.
The 2013 WPIAL championship game, a punt by the Wolverines that was kicked into the wind, and it didn't get past the line of scrimmage. Actually got blown back, and the ball was just sitting there on the turf, and Pittsburgh Central Catholic picked it up, scooped it, and scored, and that really led to the downfall of Woodland Hills that day at Heinz Field.
Yeah, it certainly did. It's one I want to wipe out of my memory of Woodland Hills football.
So the ball at the 1, and driving his way forward and into the end zone goes quarterback Amir Jenkins for the 1-yard rushing TD.
Yeah, not much trouble there for Calvert Hall as they just trusted the big lineman up front. And Jenkins is able to take it in for 6.
So 1-yard touchdown run for Jenkins puts Woodland Hills behind 29-6 with 6:52 to play third frame. And Kieran O'Neill steps in to kicked the PAT, and he remains perfect on the day in that category, as the PAT is good. And with 6:52 to play, third frame, Woodland Hills down 30-6. Tuned into the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
6:52 remains here in the third quarter. Woodland Hills down 30-6 to the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Private school from Maryland. A team who a year ago went 11-1 overall and 5-1. 11-1 rather overall and 5-1 in their conference. Booming kick, end over end, carries all the way back to the 1-yard line. It'll be returned by a Wolverine. Nice crease up the middle for a moment, but that closes quickly. And William Clark on the return for Woody High from the 1 out to the 22, so a 21-yard return. And Woodland Hills starts 79 yards away from pay dirt.
It's going to be a tough road for the Wolverines ahead, a very deep conference this year. You know West Allegheny is going to be tough, as they always are. They also are under a new head coach, as Coach Bob Palco retired, and then he decided to come back and go to Mount Lebanon.
Hand off Clark, running right, has some room, spinning his way forward, and he is undercut as he gets to the 30. And it's a pickup of 8 for Clark.
Flag came in there. It came in right after the hit. I don't know if could have been a blow to the head or something. It looked like he went right after Will Clark's head.
Holding.
Or they're going to call hold.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
No, he wasn't. That was okay.
Yep. Look good from here. Well, at least from our camera angles. Speaking of camera angles, unique situation today. Our primary replay camera operator not with us tonight. So our primary camera operator, Lee Schaefer III, continues to run camera 1. And over on camera 2, Lee Schaefer Jr. And over on camera 3, we've got another Schaefer. 3 generations of Schaefers running cameras here at the Wolverena. Quite the human interest story as Stubbs drops back to pass, rolls to his left-hand side, throws the ball. He's hit as he releases it. And he was looking over to that far sideline. Michael Edwards from Calvert Hall was the closest to it.
Yeah, Rodney Stubbs has had very, very little time to pass the ball tonight. And even with just a 4-man rush there, you see the Cardinals break right through. And they're able to get a lot of pressure on Rodney Stubbs and force him to just get that out of there and just try and avoid getting sacked deep in the backfield.
Clock stop, 6:17 to play, third frame. And Hill's backed up, 3rd down and 20. Clark running right, driving his way forward, out across the 20. He'll surge out towards the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. They'll bring the punt unit on, but a flag is down as well, and we'll check in with our referee to see what that's about.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Result of the penalty, first down.
Now, something was done or said after the play was over that drew the ire of the officials. And William Clark, after picking up about 10 yards, the Wolverines are going to get some more here. As after the play was over, apparently something went down that the officials didn't like. Looked like maybe a little shove after the play there. And that cost 15 yards to the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Woodland Hills able to push the ball out to the 37 and now across the 40 to the 41-yard line on another William Clark run, who just continues to push the ball forward for Woodland Hills here in the second half after he was stymied a bit in the second quarter.
Yeah, you can see every time he gets that ball, he is so eager to find a hole, and if he doesn't have a hole, he's going to go for contact and just get every yard that he can get. He's such a hard runner. We saw that last year, and it's only extended into this year, that's for sure.
Stubbs again, hands off. Clark nowhere to go this time, is in the backfield. He is a defensive lineman for Calvert Hall. Connor Ickard, 6'3" defensive end, making the stop in the backfield.
Yes, that might be an opportunity for the Wolverines to maybe experiment a little bit, given that this game is now at 30-6, down by 24, getting late in the third quarter here.
Stubbs, hands off. Pushing forward goes William Clark, but not a lot of room as he gets to the 40-yard line, and the punt unit comes out. Send it down to Vince Russo for his vantage point down on the field.
Hey guys, one thing I've been noticing down here, the Wolverines have not yet returned to the passing game, and the last time that they did, they had Scipio out on the outside wide open. Kind of perplexing to me they haven't at least given it a shot, seeing as they had some separation there. Just a poorly thrown ball. I'm sure they can get it on the mark the next time. Wonder if they'll try and pass it the next time. The next drive, down 24. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Vince. And very clear that Stubbs is having trouble getting the ball off, especially with the way the Wolverines are shorthanded on the offensive line, and that may be playing at least some part in it. As the punt comes to the near sideline, and one of the up men for Calvert Hall Cardinals, Sasaki, ends up scooping it up. He wasn't the deep man on the punt, but Sasaki still picks it up and takes it across the 45 to the 46, where this drive starts.
Yeah, I thought they had him pinned to the sideline there. Sasaki was able to get out of it, but ultimately he only maybe gains 1 extra yard after trying to reverse his field there for the Cardinals.
Yeah, there was one deep back on the right hash about the 30, and then over here near the left hash, he was probably closer to the 40, and that's where he ended up catching that ball before taking out the 45. Trips right, one receiver to the near side left, hand off, and it's bobbled initially, but Glass is off to the races. All the way inside of the 30 as he cuts around the Wolverine down towards the 20-yard line. And Glass takes it from the Calvert Hall 45 down to the Woodland Hills 19-yard line, a gain of 36.
Yeah, it seems to not really matter who has the ball, Glass or Tucker. They're both getting big chunks of yardage here tonight behind that big offensive line.
Glass with the touchdown to his credit already today, takes the handoff this time, big hole over right tackle. Cuts his field to the right-hand side, slides past another Wolverine right at the 3-yard line, and into the end zone he goes for his second touchdown of the game.
Yeah, it's too easy right now for Calvert Hall. Wolverines have no answers on defense, and just very demoralized right now as Calvert Hall trots into the end zone yet again, looking to go up 37-6.
2 plays, 55 yards, capped off by a 19-yard touchdown run by Glass, his second TD of the game. And on for the PAT comes Kieran O'Neill. And that PAT is good for O'Neill. More 3:23 to play in quarter number 3. Woodland Hills trailing the Calvert Hall Cardinals 37-6, but before we step away, there is a flag down. We'll see what that's about before we head to break. Referee checking with the sideline, confirming how the Calvert Hall Cardinals would like to have this penalty assessed.
Dead ball, personal foul on Woodland Hills. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
37-6 your score. We'll be back in a minute here on the Woodland Hills Football Network, and presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale has recently been named among the 33 best sandwich shops in America. But folks in the Woodland Hills communities have known that for over 80 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're sure to love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
So we'll see Kieran O'Neill kick off this time for the first time. We've seen Pete Moore kick off each time previously. They'll allow O'Neill to kick this one, and it'll carry it in the end zone for a touchback. So the Wolverines will start at their 20, and I mean, the offense has just been stagnant for Woodland Hills. We've seen some rushes from William Clark, but other than that, we have not seen much production from the black and turquoise offense.
Yeah, as Vince mentioned, you'd love to see, even though Rodney Stubbs has not had much time to throw the ball, it's still going to be the same when they try and run the ball. You're not going to have much success there either if they're breaking through that line, as the Cardinals are, but you'd still like to see them attempt it. Game getting out of hand here, experiment for the year.
5 games in conference coming up, and right now is the time if you want to try to experiment some things, you got to do it. As we saw our schedule for a moment there as Clark runs to the far sideline. Next up, Bethel Park. Then the Wolverines stayed home for 3 straight weeks as they will host the Peters Township Indians on September 6th. Then hit the road for 2 straight at Upper St. Clair and Baldwin before wrapping up that 5-game conference stretch, hosting the West Allegheny Indians on Friday, September 27th.
Yeah, it's not going to get any easier, Adam. Whole year is going to be tough for Woodland Hills. Hopefully they can use this game, learn from their mistakes, and move forward.
Stubbs hands off. Clark surges forward. Pickup of a half dozen out to the 35, and it's first down for Woodland Hills. 2:39 to go here in the third frame. Talked about that 5-game stretch for Woodland Hills in conference play. After that, Woodland Hills is stepping out of conference and traveling to Kiski, traveling to Vandergrift for the first time since 2007. Back then they played at Davis Field, new facility at Kiski High School where the Wolverines will play this year. It's pass to the near side, and the Wolverines go to the air and find Armani Bailey. Stubbs to Bailey, and to the 42. Bailey will go before he's brought down. And the 5'8" junior picks up 7 yards, and it's second down and 3.
See if Rodney Stubbs maybe would air this ball out a little bit here and get to Josh Rawlings maybe.
Stubbs looks left, throws left, and the pass was intended short. Apparently it slid through the hands of a defender, and a diving catch is made by Gavin Yarborough, and it's Woodland Hills first down. So the Wolverines starting to go to the air here. Vince, Eric, you guys talked about it, and it's happening.
Yeah, you got to get those quick release. You know, Stubbs isn't having much time back there to throw the ball. The best thing to do is get that ball out of his hand quickly, and you've got the speedy receivers to do that. Surprised we haven't seen Steel Valley transfer Eshawn Carter yet for the Wolverines. I haven't seen him on the field once, maybe. Thought I saw him in warm-ups, but I may have been mistaken. But he had a big year for Steel Valley last year as a sophomore, and he could be a big addition and a big weapon for the Wolverines all year long.
Well, there was a WPIAL hearing regarding his transfer. Steel Valley challenged his transfer, and I don't know if the results had come through yet, and since the challenge may still be out there, he may not be able to play until the challenge is ruled upon by the WPIAL. I don't know how that went.
Right, yeah. And I heard he was ruled eligible. I heard about that. I didn't know if that only applied to the ineligibility for the playoffs, but maybe you're right, Adam. Maybe it just applies to overall the whole transfer.
Got a Wolverine shaken up at the 50-yard line. And with the Wolverine down, we're going to step away too. 1:14 to play here in quarter number 3. It's 37-6, Calvert Hall on top of Woodland Hills. You're tuned in to Woodland Hills football on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
Busch Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for 4 decades. Busch Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, an alignment, state inspection and emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Busch Brothers is the place for you. Busch Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342. Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek is the official pizza of the Wolverena and has been a family tradition since 1971. Fox's Pizza also features tasty appetizers, fresh salads, as well as mouth-watering hoagies and sandwiches. Fox's Pizza in Turtle Creek is conveniently located in Penn Plaza, so stop in to pick up lunch or dinner or call to place your delivery order now at 412-823-9960. From our den to your den, it's Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek.
You're tuned in to Wolverine football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Darren Frazier Keys shaken up on the play, the sophomore lineman, 6'2", 212 pounds, really favoring that left leg. And before we went to a break, we were talking about the transfer hearing for Eshawn Carter. Our partners at Trib High School Sports Network have an article at 8 p.m. on Thursday night written by our good friend Chris Harlan. Says that the WPIL ruled Eshawn Carter is eligible, clearing him to play football and basketball, but he's ineligible for the playoffs due to a PIAA rule that affects all transfers after the start of 10th grade. Woodland Hills can't appeal that ineligibility, but must prove Carter qualifies for hardship waiver. So we'll keep an eye on that as Stubbs goes to the air on 2nd down and 9 as we're back to live action. Pass is incomplete down the near sideline.
Yeah, definitely saw some arm strength there from Rodney Stubbs. Wasn't on the money, wasn't accurate. There was good coverage, though, by the Cardinals, so it would have been hard to get that ball to Scipio anyway. But it's good to see Stubbs throw the ball out of the pocket with some confidence there at the very least.
Third down and 9. End around goes to Armani Bailey. And Bailey picks up the Woodland Hills first down, picking up 10 yards from the 48 down to the 38. And it's 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills. It's the first time today they're driving the football well, and they've pushed the ball inside of Cardinals territory.
Yeah, and there's some of that experimentation that we were talking about. Why not throw in plays like that? The game coming up to the 4th quarter, you're down by 31. You know what the result is ultimately going to be, unfortunately. So you got to try things like that. Why not? See what you can do and see what you have to work with the rest of the year.
Ball carrier is William Clark. And Clark is brought down at the 40. So after the penalty, Woodland Hills is backed up to the 50-yard line.
You know, Calvert Hall is the former school of ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr.
Something I wouldn't rave about if I were a Calvert Hall alum.
Good point.
Stubbs avoiding pressure. Was able to ultimately get the football away, throwing it out to Keyshawn Davis. Well, the pass was incomplete, but great strength there by Stubbs to shed off tacklers and get that ball away.
Yeah, we've seen Stubbs out there as a linebacker tonight. You can tell he's got the body frame for it, but he fights through that tackle. Great job, and if he was able to get that ball to Davis, that would have been an extremely nice play there by Rodney Stubbs. But you love to still see that hustle out there from the Wolverines.
Two receivers left, one to the near side right. Movement early, but no whistles blow as they'll just hand off, and straight up the middle goes William Clark.
Should be the final play of the third quarter, Adam.
So that will do it for the third frame. A much better third quarter than the second quarter. But still not the way the Wolverines wanted the beginning of the second half to go. So we head to the fourth frame. Woodland Hills down by 31 points. You're tuned in to the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network, presented by State Senator Jay Costa.
LG3 Entertainment is a first-class disc jockey and karaoke entertainment company that serves the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. They offer a wide range of music entertainment for weddings, anniversaries, school dances, corporate events, and more. They also offer beautiful chair cover linen rentals to give your event the elegance it deserves. They offer many more services, so go to their website today and see why so many choose LG3 Entertainment for the best in family fun entertainment.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Back here at the Wolverena, set to begin the fourth quarter. Woodland Hills down 37-6. It's third down and 20. Woodland Hills facing the long field. Stubbs in the shotgun. Running to his right-hand side, directing traffic. He's wrapped, he's sacked, he's brought down from behind by DJ Wade. And Stubbs sacked way back at that 43-yard line. Punt unit comes on. Let's send it down to the sideline. Vince Russo with Woodland Hills down by 31, prepping some of the young guys to come into the game soon.
Yeah, guys, you would think that the coaching staff would look to get some of the younger talent into the game as this one well in hand with just over 11 minutes left in the fourth, especially with a young team, some injuries as we saw here tonight. A lot of players playing two ways. If they can find any guys that might be able to step up and supplement some of those guys, even give them a breather throughout the season, could be big for this team moving forward. Back up to you all.
Thank you, Vincent. You know, you see Kellen McDonough, the long snapper, who was waiting to step over that football. I saw him I'm pretty sure a moment ago, playing left tackle, and now the freshman is the long snapper. Now, he has long snapped tonight thus far, but to see him come in as a freshman at 6'4", 202, playing the left tackle position, he's got some talent. And of course, he's got a great pedigree here. His father, Jason McDonough, a standout offensive lineman for Woodland Hills in the early 90s.
It's always good to see young guys like that, especially freshmen, get varsity experience no matter what is happening in the game. Hopefully they can see the field a lot more in the years to come.
11:04 to play, fourth quarter. Woodland Hills down 37-6. We thank you for joining us here on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Calvert Hall going to the bench, at least for their quarterback spot, is Sean Ketchen is now the QB. Ketchen looks to his right-hand side, tries to find Saul Nixon. The pass is incomplete. And that brings up second down and 10.
Second and 10, Cardinals.
I was looking at some of the preseason previews, Eric, and one thing that really stuck out to me is the thought process of wanting to see Woodland Hills early if you're going to play them. And that's indicative of tonight's game as well, and how Woodland Hills has a propensity to improve. And they've improved in this football game, let alone as they have a propensity to improve each and every season.
Definitely last year we saw them go 0-4 right off the bat at the beginning of the season, but they really got it together there. Able to finish the year at 5-7.
And made a run in the playoffs. Got the upset shutout victory on the road at Mars. Knocking off the third-seeded team in the playoffs in the process, and then advanced to the quarterfinals when they took on West Allegheny, and it was another one-point battle between the Wolverines and the West A Indians.
10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Penalty against Cardinals for blocking the back, pushes them back after a nice run by the quarterback Ketchin. A good portion of that is negated, but they still end up picking up about 9 yards on the play. Getting back to the end of last season, that 14-13 loss at North Hills against West Allegheny. And that was a heartbreaker. Woodland Hills had plenty of opportunities to win that game, including an INT that was dropped that would have sealed the deal for Woodland Hills. And ultimately that drive continued, and and led to this winning score for West Allegheny.
Yeah, that almost pick six, I think, was the brother of Tavian Brooks, I believe. Just took his eye off it for a second, or else he was going to the house. Then they had a 4th and long that the Wolverines gave up on a great catch by a West Allegheny wide receiver. Just every play seemed to go West Allegheny's way, and then that fumble at the end by the Wolverines as they were trying to go in and score.
Yeah, Woodland Hills had some momentum with them at the end of that game. We're driving down the field and fumbled it away as the game wound down. To the ground goes reserve running back DeMar Seibels. He's brought down for no gain.
Keyshawn Frazier with that initial contact there. He's seen a lot of playing time over the last year and already tonight. He's filled in a lot. He's turned himself into a pretty darn good player for the Wolverines.
Straight drop back for reserve quarterback Ketchin, and he looks across the middle and tried to find Augie Maselli. Slides through the hands of Maselli, incomplete. An incomplete pass brings up 3rd down and 9. On the coverage, Angelo Reddix, freshman defensive back, 5'9", 172.
When the parents of Darren Frazier King, please report to the scoreboard end zone immediately.
3rd down and 9. Trips right, one receiver to the far side left. One back set. Ball thrown by Ketchin. And a nice defensive play. We just talked about the freshman Angelo Reddix, and right there he makes a nice defensive play, knocking that ball to the turf.
Yeah, definitely Reddix getting his paw in there, knocking the ball away in what could have been a big play there for Calvert Hall. But nice coverage in the secondary there by Reddix for the Wolverines.
So instead, the punt unit comes on, and we'll see Pete Moore, who's boomed some punts today.
You know, we talk about that secondary. They really had some big losses. You know, Division I Toledo recruit Mike Coleman gone. Jay Smith, a big-time defensive back for the Wolverines last year, he graduated, as well as Tavian Brooks graduated as well. So they're really going to have to figure out how they can replace those big Wolverines.
Snap high, but gathered in nonetheless by Pete Moore, who gets away a sky-high punt, and just before it falls, or just as it falls into the arms of the Woodland Hills return man, he gets a mouthful of a Cardinal, Tariq Scipio on the return for Woody High.
I'm impressed that Scipio was able to hold on to that. Man, he got hit right away. Barely even had time to make the catch on the return, but able to hold on. It's tough to do, so good job for Tariq.
Wolverines go to the ground as they start this drive at their own 16-yard line. Dante Grant looked like he was the ball carrier there. 5'10" senior reserve running back. We're number 32.
And it looked like Jeffrey Williams was the quarterback there for the Wolverines. As mentioned earlier, he had a chance to play some quarterback in the scrimmage against Pine Richland. And indeed, it is Jeffrey Williams. He takes the snap again. Trying to make something out of nothing there.
Going to be a penalty, hands to the face on the near side here, receiver.
Flag down over on that far sideline. Let's check in with our referee.
Personal foul on Woodland Hills. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
Woodland Hills head coach Tim Bostard right there talking with Jeffrey Williams, playing quarterback right now. And our own Vince Russo trying to listen in, saw him in the background. Play action as Williams will run to his right-hand side, slides through a little bit of a hole, drives his way forward out towards the 20-yard line before he's finally brought down.
It's run by Jeffrey Williams there. And you can see his versatility and his athleticism and his speed. He's going to be a key player all year for the Wolverines. And actually on that play, I did see Sean Carter out there at wide receiver, so looks like he is good to go, yeah, to be able to play.
Yeah, you have to assume Woodland Hills is going to appeal what we were talking about regarding his playoff ineligibility at this point. Jeffrey Williams off to the races. He's inside of the 50 to the 40 to the 30 to the 15 to the 15 now, excuse me, to the 10 and into the end zone.
Yep, Jeffrey Williams, as you mentioned earlier, Adam, you called it. He has been the man for the Wolverines. He is possibly your most athletic player on the field, other than maybe Josh Rawlings, a couple other Wolverines, and you got to get the ball in his hands.
83-yard touchdown run for Jeffrey Williams, and the second big play of the game. And we talked about it just out of halftime that he was going to be our State Senator Jay Costa player of the game. But there's no doubt about it now.
Certainly, you could just see his speed there. And it was a great decision to get him into the game by Coach Bostard. We'll see if that affects some decisions down the line. Gotta think you got to get him more involved in the offense now. And even based on that one play, you can see how valuable he could be.
And Williams will stay in at quarterback after an 83-yard run as the pistol QB, and he hands off and into the end zone goes Dante Gant, the senior reserve running back. And Woodland Hills cuts into the Calvert Hall lead, 37-14. How about that speed by Jeffrey Williams?
Oh yeah, you know, we didn't get a chance to see too much of it last year, as he spent pretty much all of his time in the secondary for the Wolverines. But that time, just a great decision to keep that ball and cut up the middle and through that hole. He knew he had the speed and ability to get through it and break away.
Send it down to the field. Vince Russo, you certainly had a different angle on that run by Jeffrey Williams than we did.
Yeah, guys, what really stood out to me was the misdirection on that play. And they've had a little bit of success with that here tonight. If you remember earlier in the game, they had a pretty productive run on a wide receiver reverse. As they test out different things here with different players late in this game, they've done a lot with the RPO, the run-pass option. I'd be interested to see if the misdirection and the multiple fakes on the handoffs is something they might try to go with moving forward with this offense. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Vince. Jeffrey Williams, 2 touchdowns today, 1 on defense, now 1 on offense. And the Wolverines have cut the lead down to 23 points. The Calvert Hall Cardinals. And over end kick that will carry just inside of the 40. And returned out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. On the return, Jamal Rickard. And it's 1st and 10 for Calvert Hall.
See if we get some younger underclassmen in here for the Wolverines, or if they're going to stick with some of the main starters. I do see Thomas Sheard out there, and he's a big part of both the offensive and defensive line for the Wolverines.
Shotgun. New QB again. This time it's Brannick. Brannick's pass to the near sideline and a diving catch. They say he caught it. They do. Reception by Connor McGeehan, but there's flags down behind the play. Where these flags came from, usually it's holding.
Yeah, it looked like Desmond Jackson was getting helped pretty bad
on
there.
the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the 5. We'll replay first down.
After the foul, the ball is placed back at the 29-yard line, and the line to gain is the 44. So it's 1st down and 27. There's a deep pass down this near side. A nice throw by Brannick and a better catch by Saul Nixon.
It's like another flag, maybe.
Pass complete to number 88, Saul Nixon. There is a penalty flag on the play.
Ineligible man downfield on the offense. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay first down.
So 2 catches, one by Nixon and one by McGeehan, have been thwarted by penalties by the guys in white. Can't be happy with your teammates when you make plays like that and then they get negated.
Certainly not, especially on that one. It was a nice throw and a nice catch for Calvert Hall. Wolverines' struggles in the secondary continue.
Trips to the right, one receiver to the far side left. QB Brannick. He'll hand off. And a bruiser up the gut for Calvert Hall. Appeared to be Liam Kamar, 5'10", 170-pound junior running back.
Hand off to Wayne Corbin.
Six minutes to play here as Brannick pressured, flushed, rolling to his right. Little hitch and tried to throw it out there, tried to find a teammate in the flat, but Kelshawn Lovelace nearly intercepted that one, and we got another flag down. I'll tell you what, Eric, I've seen so many flags in the last 2 days, and what's really been perplexing is in situations like this, in these games where, you know, with 5 minutes and 50 seconds to play, Woodland Hills down by 23 points. It would be a very long shot for them to win. It's time to put the flags away a little bit.
On the offense.
I know what you're saying, Adam.
That penalty will be declined. 3rd down.
3rd and 26 Cardinals.
So now 3rd down and 26 for the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Tonight's game kicked off at 9 o'clock. It was scheduled for 8 o'clock. It's now 11:21 p.m. And I don't ever remember doing play-by-play for a high school football game at 11:21 p.m.
It might be a new record indeed, Adam.
Goes again up the gut. Goes reserve tailback Liam Kamar. And the punt unit will come on. The Calvert Hall Cardinals.
Wayne Corbin, the ball carrier to play. Corbin tackled by Michael Jones.
So Pete Moore on to punt it for the Cardinals with 5:18 on a clock that winds here in the fourth frame. Good snap, and Moore gets it away. Will be returned by Armani Bailey, who catches it retreating. No, he drops it as he retreats, then scoops up the ball and drives his way from the 16 out to the 19 after flubbing that one. It'll be 1st and 10 for Woodland Hills right around the 20-yard line.
It's Pete Moore for Calvert Hall. Really can boom the ball. That has been clear tonight.
Number 44, Judy.
In the game preceding this one, McKeesport took on Woodrow Wilson, and the McKeesport Tigers beat the Woodrow Wilson Tigers in a hard-fought game that kind of bogged down in the second half. But I'll tell you, the kicker from McKeesport was impressive. He's those kind of kickers that, you know, not every kicker that goes to college gets a scholarship right out of high school. He's that type of kicker.
It's always valuable to have a good kicker, that's for sure.
Jeffrey Williams scrambling, retreating, now stepping forward, directing traffic. Thought about tossing it. Now he'll tuck and run. Drives his way forward across the 30. Right now he looks magic with the football in his hand.
He certainly does. As we said before, you can see how valuable he can be. Granted, it's late in the game and there are certainly reserves in for Calvert Hall, but it doesn't matter. You can see how versatile he can be.
And he's lefty, so you know, that changes things up a good bit as well. You get the southpaw in there running the offense.
Reminds me of the days of John Yezevich, a quarterback for the Wolverines. About 10 years ago now, I think. Last Wolverines WPIAL championship.
2009, 10-0 win for the Wolverines over the Gateway Gators at Heinz Field. Pass by Williams goes to that far sideline. It's incomplete. Williams was looking for Carter, the aforementioned Eshawn Carter, 5'11", 143-pound junior. Second down and 10 as the clock is stopped. 3 straight games in Turtle Creek for us, and that's good news for the Wolverines as they don't have to hit the road and spend long time on the bus. Because of the conference situation that Woodland Hills is in, they traditionally have the longest bus ride when they travel each and every week within the conference. And here comes a running back to the near side. Keyshawn Davis is off to the races, breaks the tackle inside of the 20, inside of the 15, inside of the 10, and into the end zone for a Woodland Hills touchdown. And another big TD run. Check that. It's Keyshawn Davis. Or is it 9, Taylon Brooks? I'll tell you, these Under Armour numbers are not the easiest
Very
to read.
hard to read, especially when those jerseys wrinkle up a little bit.
No, it is Taylon Brooks, number 9. I feel bad for Taylon Brooks, but regardless, a big run there and another big TD for Woody High.
Another guy, you can see how much skill he had last year. Another Wolverine, you have to get involved in this offense.
I do enjoy that each and every year, especially since Woodland Hills got these newer jerseys where the numbers don't particularly separate really well, especially with like the 3s and the 8s and the 6s and the 9s, that every player that touches the ball wears 3, 6, 8, and 9.
Doesn't seem to always happen that way, exactly.
3:55 to play in regulation. Woodland Hills has cut the lead down to 17 points after the 2-point conversion fails, following a nice long touchdown run by Taylon Brooks. We'll step away for the Wolverines and the Cardinals momentarily here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Whether you need a new website or want to improve your existing site, Web Landings can serve your needs. Web Landings provides professional, easy-to-maintain websites for businesses, organizations, and individuals. Discover more at weblandings.com and find out how editing your site can be as easy as using a word processor. Plus, we offer 1 year of free hosting for any website developed. Visit weblandings.com today.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Woodland Hills cutting into the lead of the Calvert Hall Cardinals on a couple of big long touchdown runs, one by Jeffrey Williams, another one by Taylor Brooks. Deontay Williams kicks things off, and his scrimming kick is covered up by the Calvert Hall Cardinals. We'll send it down to the sideline where Vince Russo, and let's talk about the speed of this Woodland Hills team. When it's been on display, it has been a thing of beauty, especially Taylor Brooks most recently, and twice by Jeffrey Williams.
Yeah, again, guys, great signs here, great flashes late in the game for a team that's looking for guys to step up. Young offensive talent across the board. Going to need some of that depth if they're going to make a run in this deep conference that we've been talking about. We talked about the people they've lost to graduation over last year. We talked about how they need some fresh faces and that speed to ignite. And 2 nice long touchdown runs there. And, you know, going into hopefully the end of this game with 2 unanswered touchdowns, 2 unanswered scores, allows this team to take a little momentum going into next week, something to bring back to the drawing board with practice. So hopefully that translates into some momentum for next week's contest. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Vince. Twins to either side, as the Cardinals offense is on the field, and again it's Brannick. Brannick looks across the middle and looks for Dylan Pennick, and Pensick's pass is incomplete.
Pressure by the Wolverines there. 3:46 remaining in this one. As we take a look at the replay here. Nice job to force him to get rid of that ball quick in a bad throw.
This time the Cardinals go to the ground. And it's Kai Smith, 5'10" junior, running back and defensive back.
Cardinals gaining about 2 yards on the play. Defense by Jason Lewis of Woodland Hills.
Trips to the near side right, one receiver to the far boundary left. As again, Noah Brannick. Going to toss near side right to find Jaheim Henderson, who is brought down at the line of scrimmage. Check that, in the backfield. Back to the original line of scrimmage.
Coverage by Sean Carter of Woodland Hills.
Nice tackle by Eshawn Carter there.
Yeah, loss of 4 on the play on that tackle by Carter. Nice open field tackle with a blocker on top of him as well.
Definitely could see Carter getting some more starting time at defensive back. I believe he had about 7 interceptions, I think, last year for Steel Valley.
Punt unit on for the Cardinals. Pete Moore to boom it away. And Eric, to be honest with you, I did work the WPIAL AA finals at Joe Walton Stadium, and I'll be honest, I don't remember. Saw a lot of football last fall. Already saw a lot of football this weekend. Uh-oh. Ball slides through the hands of Jeffrey Williams, still having a tough time scooping it up. It's kicked around, it's still loose, and finally it's going to be fallen upon by a Cardinal down at the 2-yard line. Jeffrey Williams very nonchalant about after the ball slid through his hands. I think he was so confident that he'd be able to scoop it up around the oncoming white jerseys.
Right, would have been wise just to jump on it.
Yeah, ended up costing Woodland Hills a possession. giving Calvert Hall the opportunity with 1:42 to play to put this one away with the ball deep inside of Woodland Hills territory.
Cardinals first and goal on the Woodland Hills 2-yard.
Really having a deep discussion over there in the huddle here for Calvert Hall. Surprising to see that in this type of game. But with the younger guys, I guess you want to give them that opportunity, and they may be in this situation that's much more meaningful down the line, possibly.
Brannick in the shotgun. Brannick hands off. And into the end zone goes reserve tailback Kai Smith.
Yeah, Wolverines were able to make that score look a little bit better there, and that's unfortunate that Calvert Hall gets in there one more time, but things like that do happen.
Well, we are at George A. Novak Field at the Wolverena, and at halftime we had an opportunity off the air to talk with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. It's good to see him back here in Turtle Creek, and stopped up to the press box to say hi to everyone. And in a circumstance like we just saw with Calvert Hall, we know what Coach Novak would have done. He would have taken 4 knees and the game would have been over.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. Even with the reserves in.
Yeah, I think the reserves would have been taking knees in that circumstance.
Calvert Hall Cardinals 44, Woodland Hills Wolverines 20.
So it's 44-20 with 1:35 to play after that 1-yard TD by Calvert Hall. Again, next week, Woodland Hills at home against Bethel Park. And then they stayed home against Baldwin. The first 2 of 5 consecutive games within conference before they hit the road, traveling to Vandergrift to take on the Kiski Cavaliers, a game that will not be played at historic Davis Field. A stadium that will not be missed by many. It certainly had its history and its charm, but being a player and broadcaster there, it's not a place I'll miss going, other than its historic charm. Next week, August 30th, 7 o'clock kickoff. Eric Shuley, Jim Shuley on the call for that one. Kickoff by O'Neal, retreating and caught by a Wolverine. Taiwan Milton. And Milton carries it out towards the 30-yard line. 1:27 to play here. The Wolverines will start what in all likelihood will be the final drive of the football game. Let's send it down to the sideline. And we didn't get an opportunity to welcome Vince Russo back to the Woodland Hills broadcast. And I say welcome back for those of you that aren't familiar. Vince, back in 2016, stepped in, did play-by-play for us for one game at Fox Chapel. So while we have an opportunity here with things winding down, welcome back to our team, Vince Russo.
Good to be back. Excited for the season. Excited to be a part of this awesome team.
Good to have you along with us. We look forward to your opportunity to step up to the broadcast booth as well as roaming the sidelines here at the Wolverena. Ball carrier, Kelshawn Lovelace. Said his name a couple of times tonight. Now he carries the football.
Yeah, nice run there by Lovelace. Found a hole and showed some speed. Very nice to get over midfield for Woodland Hills here. Coming to a minute left in this one.
Jeffrey Williams stays in at quarterback. Play breaks down. Williams going to have to try to make something out of it. Sliding his way forward. And ends up only losing a yard. It could have been a lot worse than that after that play broke down as the running back and Williams were not on the same page.
Williams down. That's not what you want to see late in a game like this. One of your guys you figure to be a key player all year long. Down holding his leg. You hope it's just a cramp maybe in the calf.
It certainly cooled off, but we already talked about how regardless of how much you've hydrated on a warmer day, it's harder to remain hydrated. You know, Jeffrey Williams has played a good bit today. We saw him play defensive back, and now we're seeing him play quarterback, and we've seen him with the ball in his hands and running hundreds of yards with it thus far.
He certainly has.
Fans, again, we talked about it just briefly earlier, but we're proud to launch our brand new mobile app. It's free and available on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. So log in to your app store and download the WHFN app. Just search WHFN. You'll have access to all of our highlight videos as well as the archives of all of our games, plus news about the Wolverines. In addition, you'll be able to tune in to live audio streams of our games there.
Great way to follow the Wolverines all year long and to always go back and you can catch some old highlights of some great Wolverine games from the past.
Yeah, one of two new wrinkles this season, our new app, and we are streaming video live to the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Good to continue our partnership with them. Again, it's Kelshawn Lovelace on a carry for Woodland Hills and another first down for Woody High.
Another nice run by Lovelace there. Definitely showing some skill here, even with just 2 carries.
Lovelace, 6-foot senior. Plays the ball and that'll do it. Woodland Hills falls to 0-1 with a 44-20 loss to the Calvert Hall Cardinals. But you know, Eric, this was not at all a lost cause. The Wolverines saw their game kind of fall apart in the second quarter, but the second half a vastly different story than what we saw in the first half. They were able to move the ball a good bit. And, you know, you add to that the Wolverines were able to get the defense going a good bit in the second half was also an encouraging sign.
Yeah, we definitely saw some big plays there. As we mentioned, Jeffrey Williams, you saw that it looked like just a cramp. You hope that he will be able to get involved more in the offense. Not that anything against Rodney Stubbs. He did as well as he could for the most part. You hope you get the line healthy. Maybe that will provide him with some more time to pass the ball. You hope to get Virginia recruit Josh Rawlings involved in this offense more. You really have to with the skill and the size that he has. So we'll see moving on what the Wolverines can do.
We'll be back in about 3 minutes as we head into the Woodland Hills Football Network postgame show. Again, your final score, 44-20, the Wolverines fall to Calvert Hall here in Turtle Creek, Pennsylvania. You've been tuned into the Wolverines and the Cardinals on the Trib Live High School Sports Network and the Woodland Hills Football Network.
State Senator Jay Costa is proud to represent Pennsylvania's 43rd District since 1996 and is happy to support the Woodland Hills football team. If you have an issue concerning state government, contact one of Senator Costa's 3 local offices. Senator Costa's offices offer a variety of services for constituents. You can reach Senator Costa's Forest Hills office at 412-241-6690 or log on to senatorcosta.com. The Triangle Bar and Grill in Swissvale has recently been named among the 33 best sandwich shops in America. But folks in the Woodland Hills communities have known that for over 80 years. The Triangle, located on Monongahela Avenue, is the home of the Battleship, the sandwich that made Swissvale famous. Plus, the Triangle has a full menu of specialty sandwiches you're sure to love. Call the Triangle at 412-271-9885 to place your order now. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been serving families in the Woodland Hills community since 1905 and is a member of the Hall of Excellence of the National Funeral Directors Association. Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home now offers crematory services at their Turtle Creek location. Families choosing cremation can have added peace of mind, knowing that their loved one never leaves the care of Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home. For nearly 115 years, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home has been honored to serve local families and to be a proud partner of the Woodland Hills communities. Woodland Hills football is brought to you in part by the law offices of Owen Seman. Owen is a Woodland Hills alumnus who studied law at Duquesne University and has been practicing law in the Pittsburgh area for over 15 years. Attorney Owen Seman's experience encompasses virtually every facet of criminal defense. If you find yourself in need of criminal defense representation, call Owen at 412-721-0412 or visit OwenTheLawyer.com.
What can you expect at Seton Hill University?
An opportunity to transform the future.
A leader in innovative and mobile technology.
A personalized education tailored for your interests and your goals.
A welcoming community.
A big step up to your dream career.
As a nationally recognized Catholic liberal arts university, Seton Hill pushes your education, your abilities, and your career to a higher level. Seton Hill University. This way up for progress, possibility, and a brighter future.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
Welcome you back to the Wolverena, and we welcome you into the Woodland Hills Football Network postgame show as Woodland Hills falls to the Calvert Hall Cardinals 44-20. And while it wasn't the second quarter that the Wolverines wanted, they battled hard in the first quarter, got things rolling in the third and fourth quarters, and had it not been for a mistake by Jeffrey Williams, this would have been a 17-point game.
Yeah, that was tough to see there at the end because they had some nice big plays, able to get it to 17, make the score look a little bit better, and they showed some heart and some hustle absolutely there at the end. Other than that one little short play and the touchdown for Calvert Hall, it was not too bad in the second half for the Wolverines.
I'll tell you what, though, this special teams has really got to regroup this week. I mean, all in all, a lot of things to take away, both positive and negative, but the troubles they had fielding multiple kicks, multiple punts, lest we not forget, early in the first half, they muffed a kickoff right in their own end that allowed another possession in the red zone inside the 5-yard line, I believe. So 2 possessions there equal 2 scores. Take those away, it's a 10-point game. Things to improve going into next week.
As we take a look at that second half, Woodland Hills did score a couple of times, and most notably a Jeffrey Williams 83-yard touchdown run. We also saw the long touchdown run by Taylon Brooks that cut Woodland Hills' deficit down to 17 points prior to that Jeffrey Williams fumble that led to the final TD of the game for the Calvert Hall Cardinals.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of Taylon Brooks on the offensive side of the ball. A little bit last year, but after that play, you got to figure you're going to see him a lot more playing offense this year.
Well, we are going to step away one final time here in the post-game show, and when we return, we are going to name our State Senator Jay Costa Player of the Game and our Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home Play of the Game. And you probably can guess both of which those are, but we'll talk about them a little bit more when we return. Again, your final score here, 44-20, Woodland Hills falls to the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Woodland Hills now 0-1, while Calvert Hall is 1-0.
Life has its ups and downs. There are times when you or a loved one needs help. That's why you should know the name LGAR, Health and Rehabilitation Center. Located just minutes from the Monroeville Mall, the LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center has been known by locals for many years, and they excel in reputation, rehabilitation, recuperation, and residential living. The help and answers you need are just a phone call away at 412-825-9000. Also on the web at lgar.org. LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, a name you should know and a name you can trust.
Busch Brothers Car Care Center in Swissvale has been a Monongahela Avenue institution for 4 decades. Busch Brothers is a full-service mechanic and tire shop for all types of vehicles. Whether you need mechanical work, an alignment, state inspection and emissions testing, new tires, or just an oil change, Busch Brothers is the place for you. Busch Brothers Car Care Center, Monongahela Avenue in Swissvale, or give Martin and Jason a call at 412-351-5342.
LG3 Entertainment is a first-class disc jockey and karaoke entertainment company that serves the Pittsburgh and surrounding areas. They offer a wide range of music entertainment for weddings, anniversaries, school dances, corporate events, and more. They also offer beautiful chair cover linen rentals to give your event the elegance it deserves. They offer many more services, so go to their website today and see why so many choose LG3 Entertainment for the best in family fun entertainment.
Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek is the official pizza of the Wolverena and has been a family tradition since 1971. Fox's Pizza also features tasty appetizers, fresh salads, as well as mouth-watering hoagies and sandwiches. Fox's Pizza in Turtle Creek is conveniently located in Penn Plaza, so stop in to pick up lunch or dinner or call to place your delivery order now at 412-823-9960. From our den to your den, it's Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek.
Whether you need a new website or want to improve your existing site, Web Landings can serve your needs. Web Landings provides professional, easy-to-maintain websites for businesses, organizations, and individuals. Discover more at weblandings.com and find out how editing your site can be as easy as using a word processor. Plus, we offer 1 year of free hosting for any website developed. Visit weblandings.com today.
You're tuned in to Wolverine Football, presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network.
And again, we welcome you back to the Wolverena, where Woodland Hills falls 44-20 to the Calvert Hall Cardinals. Adam Gusky, Eric Hall, Eric Schuley. I don't know why I keep saying Eric Hall. I know in Eric Hall, they played Calvert Hall. That's the only reason I could be converging those two. And, of course, Vince Russo, who we welcome back to our Woodland Hills family. And great job today down on the sidelines, Vince. Thanks for coming back out, joining our team, and you did a great job down on the field.
Appreciate it. Glad to be back, having a lot of fun.
Well, it's time to take a run through our post-game superlatives, and we will start off with the State Senator Jay Costa player of the game, and it's obvious who it is. It's Jeffrey Williams. He had the pick six to start the game, and you add to that the 83-yard touchdown run he had later in the fourth quarter, plus the half a dozen tackles he had just in the first half. Jeffrey Williams was all over the place on the defensive side in the first half and then made splashes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think we better get used to that, Adam and Vince, because he's going to be a big part for the Wolverines all year long on both sides of the ball, I would think.
Yeah, I really think that misdirection is a great way to get him involved, and that pick six hopefully is a flash of things to come on the defensive side of the ball, especially with how those safeties struggled tonight. Seeing that spark could be huge for that secondary moving forward.
And obviously the offensive play was a big play. However, that is not our Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home play of the game. That's going to go to the pick six by Jeffrey Williams, because that came at a more pivotal time in the football game, and it was a big spark for Woodland Hills. They got things rolling, at least for the moment.
Yeah, he really read that pass so well, and then to be able to hold on to the ball, it looked like it might slip out, hold on to it, and then break away for the touchdown. It was a great way to start.
Yeah, really a testament to good vision on the defensive side of the ball, to be able to break, get that breaking speed, step in front of the pass. Thought great play overall, great choice.
Next week, Woodland Hills takes on Bethel Park. I will not be here, neither will Vince, so Eric Schuley's going to bump over to the seat I'm sitting in, and his dad, Jim Schuley, is going to fill in over there in the color analyst seat. So before we get to that, a week from, actually just 6 days away at this point, it's almost midnight, it's almost 5 days away. Guys, your final thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, I just think looking forward, those couple plays at the end were indicative of the fact that, like Vince said, some misdirection. You have to get that involved. A couple guys, Taylon Brooks, Jeffrey Williams, Josh Rawlings, I think, needs to be involved in this offense. He was non-existent on the offensive side of the ball other than blocking tonight. But hopefully, offensive line can get a little healthier, and the Wolverines can improve moving forward.
You know, all things told, Week 0 games are always a mixed bag, as we've talked about. They got out relatively healthy, no major injuries. Yes, you take a loss tonight, but you learn a lot about your team. You learn a lot about your depth, and it gives you an opportunity to try some new things moving forward going into section play. So all in all, a good experience for the team. Hopefully it's positive moving forward.
Woodland Hills falls 44-20 to the Calvert Hall Cardinals in the Week 0 game, the final game of the WPIAL versus Everyone Showcase. Looking forward, next week Woodland Hills takes on the Bethel Park Blackhawks. The game kicks off at 7 p.m. and we will have the coverage for you as always right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. For my broadcast partners, Eric Shuley and Vince Russo, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Today's broadcast of Wolverine football was presented by State Senator Jay Costa on the Woodland Hills Football Network and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Wolverine football is also brought to you by the Triangle Bar Grille, Patrick T. Lanigan Funeral Home, the law offices of Owen Seman, LGAR Health and Rehabilitation Center, Fox's Pizza Den in Turtle Creek, Busch Brothers Car Care, LG3 Entertainment, Web Landings, and A-Boss Opticians. This broadcast has been a presentation of A.W. Gusky Productions and LG3 Entertainment. Copyright 2019.